If you've ever said to yourself, just one more mock draft before I'm ready, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It's Tuesday, it's CPI day, and we are back to break it all down. Today is the August 12th edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook for this Tuesday morning, where we're going to cover all of that. We got Ondas reporting earnings. We've got CPI coming out. We've got BMNR doing an offering. Lots of stuff to cover here today. We're going to go ahead and get that done right now. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Tuesday, August 12th edition, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful Monday evening. I gotta say, the history's greatest mysteries last night, pretty good. Pretty good one. Not a whole lot on the sport docket, but the program about Easter Island was entertaining. Hope that you all had a wonderful Monday night and you're back rested for a big CPI session here today, as we await that print coming in about 29 minutes from now. We will bring that to you as soon as it's here. But before we do all of that, let's go ahead and welcome everybody back. Billy, good morning. Billy today is first, folks. Billy talking about Benzinga, which is definitely going to be one of the stocks that we cover. Shout out to Zoltan from our news desk yesterday. He mentioned Benzinga in happy hour, and Benzinga ends up trading up here today. So pretty interesting. Billy, good morning. It's good to see you again. Big Bees, let's go. Good morning. Let's get it. Indeed, Big Bees. I love how ready to go every single morning you are. That is the exact type of attitude that we need here. Good morning, Billy. Candace, good morning. Happy Ondas earnings day. Hopefully, let's see here. They report a beat and they report a sales beat. So I want to obviously this just came out literally as I was pressing the go live button. I haven't looked at the report. I want to do that. I want to see if there's anything about the forward-looking statements that might be appealing. I think that's really what would move on this. Good to see that they beat on EPS and sales. Good to see that they're not getting absolutely shellacked here at the pre-market, to be honest with you, Candace. Good morning. Welcome back. Brent, good morning. Welcome back. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Seahorse Trading, good morning from Miami. I love traveling trading. That's one of the best parts about this job. Seahorse Trading, good morning. Stay cool down there in Miami. Richard, good morning. It's good to see you again. Zach McCracken, good morning. Welcome back. Shanlu Trading, good morning. Glass half full, good morning. He's got 4 cups of coffee loaded, glass half full. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love how loaded up on coffee you are. Join the club. Neville, good morning. Welcome back. Ryan, good morning. Welcome back. Ryan, I did get your email about GoPro. That was not one that I was going to invest in. I know I didn't respond to that. Sorry about that. I got tied up, but I did get it. So, yeah, I'll try and do better the next time you send me an email. I'll try at least give you a response. Again, I apologize for that. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. Taco if you want. Hopefully you're having a good day. Oh my God. Hopefully you're having a good morning here today. Abby, good morning. Welcome back. White Chocolate Mocha, good morning. Welcome back. Big Milkshake Trading, good morning. Welcome back. Tom, it's great to see you again. Knights Lance, great to see you again. Quantum, welcome back. Brian, welcome back. Cam and Laura in Florida, welcome back. Bernhard, good to see you again. Welcome back. Rooster, welcome back. Brandy, good morning. Brandy, did you get your question answered yesterday about the morning update? I went through it, but I don't know if I followed up with you. Let me know if you got that all squared away. Whis, good morning. Youssef, good morning from Orlando, Florida. All good. Nomad, good morning. And Mazrur, good morning. Day Trader says, I like tacos. Yeah, I bet you do, buddy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All jokes aside, there's actually a taco place next to me that has the most amazing tacos, including a fish taco. I don't even like fish, but the Baja fish taco at this place is to die for. It's to die for. Brandy, you're all set. Okay, awesome. Sassy Butterfly Chick, good morning, y'all. Say it with some soul. I absolutely love that. Good morning to you, Maverick. Good morning. And indeed, Maverick, it is a beautiful day here today. I tell you what, they all are. All right, let's dive into the SPY. Let's take a look at everything that's going on here today. Break it all down for you like a fraction. We are going to start with the SPY here. As mentioned at the open, we are awaiting CPI, which is really going to dictate, I think, where we go here today, at least in the immediate reaction to that. If we take a look at the SPY chart in particular, since August 1st, we have stuck with the pattern of choppiness for August. This is something that we were outlining going into August as we looked ahead into August, September, and October. Red day, green day, red day, green day, red day, green day, red day. Is today going to be a green day? Well, I think a lot of that depends on the CPI print that we are going to get here in just about 25 minutes. So we shall see. Now, key levels here. It's easy today because they're the exact same from yesterday. It is going to be that 639.85 is your all-time high. It'd be one thing to it'd be one thing to peak above this and look around and see what's going on. It would be quite another to close above that level. And then on the downside, we still have 631.83. If you want to look at 632 as the round number, sure, no problem. I understand. But where do we go from here? Do we actually challenge those new all-time highs? Do we roll back over for a little bit of a down move? If we do roll back over and break the 20, what's the next spot? You could probably start looking at this 622. We do have the 50-day moving average at 617.85, so maybe 618 if you want to call it that. Those would be some of your key levels on the way down, I would say. Good morning, Nakil. Good morning, Durkus. Good morning, Big Dave. Can we discuss Circle? We absolutely can. Let me go ahead and throw that on there. They reported earnings last night, right? Good morning, James. You did make it, man. You did make it. Awesome. All right. Let's do a quick look at the morning report. Again, CPI really going to dominate the headlines here today. Now, S&P futures are unchanged, so it does look like this is a little bit mixed in terms of the indices. SPY here is actually down 0.02%. So technically it's in the red, but for all intents and purposes, it's unchanged here. We do have an IPO here today, folks. MAG-H, which is Magnitude International, this priced between 4 and 5, and that's going to IPO here today. I don't have any thought on it or any line on it or anything like that. Finally, though, we do have a couple of different events here. TD Cowen's 11th annual communication event. I don't know if anyone trades these stocks, but they're going on, or that conference is going on, excuse me. Oppenheimer's 28th Technology, Internet, and Communications. There's the TD Cowen. KeyBank Capital Markets and Technology. Interestingly enough, Fastly is on there. We really haven't traded that recently. Capital Market Technology Leadership Forum, that's going to have ASML. This has been kind of a big mover for us recently. I think there are some people that are actually stalking this right now for a potential entry too. We also had the Canaccord Genuity 45th Annual Growth Conference, TVTX, in there. I don't know if anyone's trading Travor Therapeutics, but we'll see. Looking through the rest of this here, I don't think there was. This is one of the things I wanted to mention. So we talked yesterday about Monday, which was really getting pounded after its earnings here. They actually get an outperform from Baird. So part of me wonders if the low that we put in yesterday at 173.20, which came right near the close, if that's actually going to be the low. We're at 177 right now. They did get an outperform rating here from Baird with a 240 price target. So maybe there's a trade in MNDY here today. We'll see. I don't think there was anything else on here. I guess it's worth mentioning that UBS went to neutral on Workday, 250 price target. Current price is 211. Downgrades, Lantheus. Where's Jay Rice? Someone get Jay Rice. Lantheus was downgraded here, $63 price target and a hold from Truist. And then on the analyst upgrades, we already talked about Monday. Palo Alto from Piper getting a 225 price target, an overweight rating. That is 55 points away from the current price. Pretty good. Also, Starbucks getting an outperform from Baird, 115 price target, current price $93. And then Chipotle getting an overweight from Piper and a $50 price target. That stock is 42. Chipotle, very, very tough trade to the long side, or at least it has been recently. So there you go. Yassine, appreciate this. This was a good mention. I actually didn't see this yet or see an advertisement for it, but the Circle CEO is apparently going to be on CNBC this morning. Do you know what time that is, Yasin? That might be interesting for those of you that are trading Circle. Good morning, Zoo. Anyone else I missed, but by name here, Zoo, ATL Russ, and Florida Yacht Insurance Guy. Good morning and welcome back, everybody. So here's your morning report. Really, I think the big thing here outside of some of those earnings are going to be the CPI. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the news that is affecting this market. Let's go ahead for the breakdown here. President Trump signed an executive order on Monday extending the suspension of heightened tariffs on China for another 90 days. These are the tacos that day trader likes to feast on all the time, keeping the current 10% reciprocal tariff in place until November 10th. There's another day to add to your calendar, folks. Meanwhile, Chinese authorities directed local firms to avoid using NVIDIA's H20 chips, citing security reasons. The laugh riot here is that they also cited environmental reasons. Good times. Investors await the July Consumer Price Index data as Wall Street economists expect it to rise for a third straight month. Dun, dun, dun. The consensus view for the annual CPI to print is at 2.9%. That's above the 2.8% and matching the highest level since February. So there we go. That's going to be the big event here today. What does that cause us to do? We shall see. I hope you all are ready for that. Monthly prices are projected to rise by 0.2, which is slightly below the 0.3 increase observed in June. The 10-year Treasury yielded 4.28%. The 2-year was at 3.77%. Now, let's take a look at some insights here from analysts. Jeffrey Bookbinder, the chief equity strategist at LPL Financial, quote, "The stock market's ascent and low volatility tells us stocks are absorbing the tariffs well," end quote. Not an opinion that you hear a whole lot, but there it is. He explained that another way to demonstrate the market's comfort is with analysis of how stocks with the most perceived tariffs risk are performing relative to those stocks with the least amount of perceived tariff exposure. Now, when I read this morning, I thought to myself, man, this was a missed opportunity for us because we have just a incredibly diverse group here. People think that these tariffs are the worst thing that's ever happened and it's going to ruin the country. And others here that think the tariffs are really no big deal. And I think a real good thing for us to have done here would be exactly what Jeff is talking about. Create some of these watch lists that have the perceived impact of tariffs and then compare them and compare their performance. And that would have at least given us an objective numerical measure of what these tariffs are actually doing. So after reading this, I thought to myself, man, this would have been a really great exercise for us to do. I'll try and keep this in mind if we ever have something like this again, maybe not tariff related or something similar to this. Quote, "Our friends at Goldman Sachs created a basket of stocks they believe are the most immune to tariffs and another basket of stocks that are at the most risk from tariffs. Somewhat counterintuitively, stocks most at risk from tariffs have performed much better since the so-called Liberation Day tariff announcement back on April 2nd. The note stated that experts have been pleasantly surprised by how well stocks have handled the sharp increase in tariffs. Since the market low from the early April tariff scare, the S&P 500 index has gained more than 28%. The note highlighted several reasons for the impressive rally in the face of these headwinds, and they are as follows. Good-selling companies have been running down excess inventory, delaying the tariff effects. Day traders probably dancing on his desk right now. Consumers and businesses did some, quote, front running, ordering extra products ahead of tariff implementation dates. That was a smart move. There have been pauses and exemptions delaying or muting the effects. These are the tacos everyone likes to gobble up. Canada and Mexico are mostly protected by the USMCA trade agreement, the one that Trump came up with. Some international trading partners have eaten the tariffs. Dirkus, you doing a victory lap? Because you explained how this works in depth last week. Businesses and consumers have substituted products to reduce tariff burdens. Yeah, this is a natural response to that. It's not the case that just one company makes one product. There are often multiple companies that make the same product, giving the consumer choice. Some businesses have evaded high tariffs through transshipments. Also, keep in mind that as of July 1, the latest available data on tariff revenue for the U.S. government, or that the U.S. government has received, the effective tariff rate was only around 9%. Meanwhile, Ryan Dietrich, the chief market strategist at Carson Research, stated in an X post that AI is the real reason why the U.S. economy isn't in a recession. This is a really good quote for us to examine given the poll yesterday. Did I cover those poll results yesterday, producer Michael? I can't remember. Just really quickly to recap here, I had asked, are we in an AI-led bubble or is AI an opportunity for expansion? 52% of you said AI is the future. There's no bubble. 29% of you said we're in the bubble, and 18% said I'm just not sure. So I'm not sure if I went over those yesterday. Shame on me if I didn't, but there you go. Obviously the results have not changed from yesterday. What happened here to my spot? But Ryan Dietrich here saying that without AI, we might have actually been in a recession. Let me know what you think about that. Curious. He explained that without AI, growth would be near zero, as the AI spending driven by big tech has overtaken consumers as the biggest boost to U.S. GDP. Interesting stuff there. Now, going on with the inflation report here, July's inflation report, which is due at 8:30, 15 minutes away, is likely to confirm that Trump's trade tariffs are beginning to ripple across more categories in the consumer basket. That shift could create another obstacle for the Federal Reserve as it weighs the timing of interest rate cuts. Wall Street economists expect the consumer price index to rise for a third straight month. The consensus view for the annual CPI to print at 2.9%, above June's 2.8% and matching the highest level since February. We'll see what we get when those come out here. On a monthly basis, the prices are projected to rise by 0.2, which is slightly below the 0.3 increase observed in June. Much of the increase is expected to come from retailers passing along higher import duties, especially in household furnishings and recreational goods. Excluding food and energy, core inflation is expected to accelerate. Economists forecast a 0.3 monthly gain in the core CPI, the largest in 6 months, up from 0.2 in June. The annual core rate is projected to tick up from 2.9% to 3%. Core inflation, which excludes food and energy, is projected to edge up to 3% from 2.9% in June, with the monthly core CPI set to increase 0.3, the sharpest rise in 6 months after the 0.2 previous rise. Quote, it seems likely that inflation will advance further over the June rate of 2.7% as consequences of Trump's Liberation Day tariffs become inescapable. Richard Potts, economist at Bonford, said in the emailed comment that he had, he added that a growing number of companies have exhausted the cheaper stockpiles of imported goods that they had built up in advance of April's tariff hikes and will now, quote, have little option but to pass on the new costs of these tariffs to consumers. Dirkus, we'll see how this ends up working out. Stephen Juneau, economist at Bank of America, expects core good prices to rise 0.3 month over month on July, faster than in June. Quote, tariffs should continue to put upward pressure on prices, end quote, highlighting a 1.2% surge in apparel prices as a leading driver, even as both new and used vehicle prices are projected to decline yet again. Jessica Rindels at Goldman Sachs sees 4 key trends shaping up in the July data. She forecasted a 0.75%, 0.75% rebound in used car prices due to higher auction prices, a 0.2 decline in new car prices resulting from stronger dealer incentives, and a 0.1 decrease in car insurance premiums, and a 2% increase in airfares. Boy, I would love for car insurance to come in even a little bit. I would be extremely excited about that. Rindell also expects monthly core CPI to remain between 3 and 0.4 in the coming months due to the tariff effect, even as underlying inflation trends lower. Goldman expects year-end core CPI to be 3.3%. So again, we're about 12 minutes out on that. We will bring that to you as soon as it comes. If we get Sammy on here a little bit early, it's a T3 Tuesday after all. If we get him on a little bit early, I will make sure that we have time to go over those numbers or at least report those numbers and observe whatever the market is reacting to. Okay, now with the CPI kind of aside, one of the biggest news stories here, and actually I'd be looking for, and guys, I will go over the Ondas earnings report when I get a sec. It was obviously not out before I came on air here today, so I'm going to have to read through it, and I don't want to just read through it here and have a whole bunch of dead air while you judge what I feel based on what my eyes are doing. Just a really quick look here. They see full year 2025 sales of 25 million. The estimate was for 24.21 million. So in addition to beating the previous quarter, they did, it looks like, guide higher here in terms of sales, which is great. This is one of the things that I have been saying I really, really want to see this company do. I want to see that money move to the bottom line. Like, I don't want to just hear about how great everything is. I actually want to see numbers here. And this is a good first step. Let me get some more time to read through it and see if there's anything else in there I can pick out. Market is liking this. Ondas here up nicely in the pre-market. Anyway, back to the story here. Elon Musk threatens immediate legal action against Apple over antitrust violations and alleging that the iPhone maker favors OpenAI, the company they're partnered with. So on Monday, Musk took to X. Anytime I see X, formerly Twitter, I'm just going to give you a PSA right now. I'm going to not say this. Y'all know what X used to be. If I say Twitter, if I say X, I don't think it's confusing to anyone here. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to skip over this. I wish we would stop writing this personally, but it is what it is. Yo, Carson, good morning. Good to see you. Hopefully you have another great day here today, Carson. Anyway, on Monday, Musk took to X to accuse Apple of deliberately making it impossible for any AI company other than OpenAI to reach the top of the App Store rankings. Quote, Apple is behaving in a manner that makes it impossible for any AI company besides OpenAI to reach number one in the App Store, which is unequivocal antitrust violation. XAI will take immediate action. In another post, he also questioned why Apple continues to exclude both his companies, the social media platform X and the Grok app by XAI, from the must-have section of the App Store, despite their high rankings. Musk pointed out that X is the top news app globally, and Grok is currently ranked number 5 among all apps. Quote, are you playing politics? What gives? Inquiring minds want to know, end quote. Full disclosure here. Damn it, I left my phone in the other room. I'll have to go get that here in a little bit. I have both X and the Grok app, and I will say that the experience using the Grok app on my phone is great. If I ever have a question and I'm not near my laptop, in which I use Perplexity on because I have the app and it's docked right in my bar and the whole 9 yards, I use Grok all the time, and it is absolutely fantastic for the things that I use it for, albeit I'm not a power user of it, and I'm not designing any app or software or anything like that. So just saying, it's a pretty good app. Now, one thing here. So Elon Musk goes on to say, he has a post here, but he goes on to say that basically it's hard to do all of this. I actually found a video here today. All right, I'm going to give you this tweet. This tweet is a screen recording of someone natively trying to find some of these apps in the Apple App Store. Now, when I watch this video, it's only 29 seconds, so it's not terrible. It's not like too long or difficult to understand. When I watched this, it does seem like these apps are being suppressed. But the caveat, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because the caveat here is that I use the Google Play Store, which behaves entirely different than the Apple Store. So what I would rather have is I'd rather have folks that are accustomed to using the Apple App Store maybe go through this and tell me if anything looks amiss. Is this normal? Is this an overreaction? I don't have a basis to compare this to, so I have my own opinions. But it's not a first-person opinion, right? I don't browse for these apps myself, so I have no basis to compare this to. I'd like your help with that. Continuing on here, Musk's allegations come in the wake of Apple's deepening partnership with OpenAI, which saw the integration of ChatGPT into Apple's ecosystem for iPhones, iPads, and Macs. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman dismissed Musk's favoritism accusation, calling it, quote, remarkable, end quote, and alleging that Musk has manipulated X to advance his own businesses while undermining rivals and individuals he dislikes. So these two are no stranger to barking at each other, prodding each other, doing all of this stuff, just kind of going at each other and all that. Oops, can't believe that. Okay. Sorry about that here. All right. Sorry about that. Let me keep going here. Notably, Musk, who co-founded OpenAI in 2015 and left in 2018 over some differences, has previously stated that if Apple fully integrated ChatGPT at the OS level, his companies, including Tesla, would no longer use Apple devices due to security concerns. Earlier this year, Musk-led consortium of investors made a $97.4 billion bid to take control of OpenAI, but the attempt was unsuccessful. So let me know here. The Curlies are fighting again. Alpha Omega, good morning. Welcome back to the show. That was pretty good. I will be honest with you. I kind of agree with that. Having these billionaires fight with each other and having some public spat. I'll be honest with you. I don't think this stuff is very interesting to me. I'm the crazy one that doesn't think Love Island is interesting either. So maybe it's in that same vein. Who knows? Good morning, Kayla. Good to see you. So we'll see here. Let me know what you think about all of this. Zach saying, agree with Elon here, but come on, accusing others of being political. LOL. Yeah, that's actually a really good point there, Zach. He clearly was political. And I will say here, I think this is one of the reasons why you should just stay away from all of that. If you show favoritism to one side, the other side is going to notice. I mean, it's the internet after all. Come on. This is all silly. All right. Let's see. What do we got here time-wise? 4 minutes till the CPI. 4 minutes till the CPI. All right. Let's see what else we can squeeze in here before that happens. Mark, did I just call him Zuckerberg? I almost did. That's terrible. Mark Zuckerberg's costly metaverse gamble. Lawrence McDonald, founder of Bear Traps Report, issued a stark warning on Monday about Meta platforms, writing on X, imagine Zuck losing billions on a metaverse bet and then going all in on AI capex. Testosterone can be lethal. McDonald's comments came in response to Speedwell research data showing Meta's depreciation to capex ratio increased from 3.8x to 3.8x from 2.2x, including potential earnings overstatement. Meta's capital expenditure has skyrocketed from $1 billion, which was 17% of revenue in 2013, to a projected $69 billion, which is 36% of revenue, a double there, in 2025. The most dramatic acceleration occurred post-2022, with spending jumping from $14 billion to $54 billion in the last 12 months. The company's capex to revenue ratio surge suggests prioritizing long-term infrastructure over near-term profitability as Meta pursues, quote, superintelligence, end quote, capabilities across its platform. So if you want to go through this, now I don't know that this constitutes a short report, but maybe we see one here in the future. I don't know. Anyway, looks like they're starting to shake some trees here around Meta. Meta continues hemorrhaging money on metaverse development. Reportedly $5 billion in Reality Labs operating losses last quarter. The company pays VR developers $600,000 and nearly $1 million annually, double typical gaming industry compensation. That's according to Andiamo CEO Patrick McAdams. Average compensation for Meta's VR developers reached $540,000. Boy, it would be great to be able to develop VR stuff. That's a pretty good salary. Significantly exceeding Apple and at $500,000 and Alphabet at $440,000. It does look like Meta's plan here, whether it be AI development techs, VR developers, they're just trying to outpay the competition. I wonder how long that can be a suitable strategy before it really comes back and bites them. Speedwell research highlighted that rising depreciation to capex ratios mathematically guarantee continued depreciation increases, potentially inflating current earnings figures as an infrastructure investments age. So, okay, we'll see what ends up happening to Meta here. I'll be honest, the metaverse was never really a thing for me. I always thought this was kind of silly. 13 did a really good job years ago, frankly, of demonstrating how this can actually work in the real world where people would actually use this. Wasn't really blown away by it. It is what it is. I'm not sure how this is going to affect Meta. Let's actually take a look at the chart, though, because this has been an outperform. I know we're waiting on the CPI here. We'll get that as soon as it's available. I got the producer watching my back, so I don't even have to try here. Just kidding, producer. Here's where we are in Meta. And the interesting part here is that we recently popped to this new high. And so far, we've done a really good job kind of holding this island, if you will. You'll notice that we did break down from the impulse, but we came right back in here. We're basically still in the range. Top end of this target here, let me get you an exact value for that. 784 and a quarter, 784 and three quarters, 784.75 is going to be your all-time high. We'll see if Meta can break out from that. Keep in mind, there's a gap below here. So if Meta sells off and really kind of loses the 751 area, probably have a gap fill down here at 710. If any of you folks are trading Meta for more than like a scalp, let me know what you're doing here. I would like to know what's going on. Okay, looks like we have the CPI out. The market is raging higher. S&P futures ticking higher here by 0.4. CPI year over year for July, 2.7% versus the 2.8% estimate. I just finished reading very highly paid analysts that telling you that this was going to be up a tenth. And here we are, folks. It's not up a tenth. The US CPI year over year for July is actually down 1/10. US CPI month over month for July in line at 0.2 versus the 0.2 estimate. And US core CPI month over month for July, 0.3 versus the 0.3 estimate. So there you go. We get through another print here. The CPI is out. The market is not falling apart. In fact, S&P futures now trading up to the previous high. So let's actually go back to the chart. Let's examine this because I just gave you the number, or excuse me, I just gave you the key levels here on the chart. Here we go. So we are currently at 638.70. We are just a scotch below this all-time high here. I would imagine that this level at minimum is going to get tested. Perhaps we peak above it and come back in. I don't really know, but looks pretty good here today for a challenge. 639, the high print now in the pre-market. This is what the candle looks like. And when we compare it to the last couple of days, this area here very clearly in focus right now. We'll see if we have enough to get above this, or we'll see if this is a sell the news event. You know, we're popping right here in the pre-market. We'll see if maybe we kind of reverse and sell off. Who knows? Who knows how today's going to go? All I know is that two things. Number one, we reported it before CNBC. We'll take the cha-ching on that without a doubt. But also here, some of the gloom and doom not materializing. Not really materializing here. So, okay. Lion says they're a cooked number. They're scared Trump will fire them. Oh, Lion, you never fail. Never fail to make it an entertaining day here. And that's just why we appreciate you so damn much, Lion. Welcome back. Okay. Robert's asking me if Ondas will break 4. I don't know. I think we might get a 4 test here today on the back of those good earnings. But can we get a Chewbacca sound? Yeah, Digital Dino. As a matter of fact, we can. We'll give you 2 just because you asked so nicely. Okay. All right. It is a T3 Tuesday. So we're going to go ahead and bring on our guests. Let's give a warm welcome here for Sami Abu Saad. Sami, good morning. Happy Tuesday, my man. How you doing today?
Ryan, good to be back. Thank you.
It's good.
Doing great.
Let me say, we just got a CPI. I'm just going to start right out of the gate here. We just got a CPI print that was lower than expected here. Market is raging to the upside here. Looks like it stopped at 639 on a dot. What is your knee-jerk reaction to this print, and perhaps more importantly, what we might see here today?
What I like most is the IWM. The IWM looked like it was going to roll over on the daily chart, and with today's news, it's actually going to fail on that rollover or that sell setup. So we're looking bullish. We're looking really, really bullish.
Okay, awesome. Let me ask you, do you have an IWM position, or do you have some other small cap position that you monitor IWM? How does this work here?
I have in my IRA, and I wish I didn't because it didn't perform as well as the S&P 500, but I do have in my IRA, correct.
Okay, well, yeah. Tell you what, maybe you'll get a little bit of catch up after today's print. We'll see. We'll see how that works here. Okay, I do kind of want to ask you about what we talked about last time. Last time you were on, it was actually the beginning of July. It was July 8th, and you had talked a lot about some of the China stocks and stocks that had a chart that was bottoming on the monthly chart. So let me ask you, just where are we with some of these, and what do you have for us here today?
Honestly, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I'm still bullish on them, but I would have liked to have seen more follow through. Look at the BABA chart, the monthly chart.
Okay.
I mean, that's the leader, and that looks pretty good still. And I'm in it. I have a position, just as a disclaimer. But if you look at the daily chart the last couple of days, it looked pretty good on the daily, but so far no follow through. You see the last couple of days.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that monthly chart you just had me looking at, that actually looks more bullish to me than the daily chart, just from a glance. It actually looks like it wants to curl and head up through some of these levels. This, to me, looks like we're kind of range bound here right now between 115 and 125 on BABA.
Right. No, I agree 100%. So that's what I was saying, is that it looks good long term, but short term, not amazing.
Okay.
And then you have other China names that are like all out bullish. Check out TME.
TME is Tencent. Here you go. Oh yeah, you're absolutely right, Sammy.
So there are some names, and this is a major company. There are some names that are all out bullish. Now, if you're not in them already, it's not probably the place to be starting. So I like some of the ones that are bottoming. We do have also some US companies that are in the process of bottoming, like Etsy, ETSY.
Do you like a daily chart here on Etsy?
No, on the monthly chart.
Monthly chart, got it.
Possibly bottoming.
So let me ask you, this 20-month moving average, did you use this at all? Because this does, first of all, I agree with you. Looking at this chart, it sure looks like this bottomed. And furthermore, it actually looks like it's kind of created a double bottom, because it bottomed back here in 2020, right around the same price. And it's recaptured the 20-month moving average here. Do you use this at all for maybe a change in trend or a change in sentiment?
I do for not just the change of trend. I do for my day trading. I do for everything, basically. It's the only indicator that I, other than volume, if you want to call volume as an indicator, it's the only thing that I use. The 20, the 200, and the volume. That's it. That's all I use, really.
Okay, and let me ask you, on Etsy here, do you have any type of time horizon for this potential trade?
No, this is a long-term trade. I don't know how long it will take, but basically my target is 140 on it. So I'm expecting a really nice move.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, 140 from 61 here, not bad. That's more than a double. I would take that. All right. I like this Etsy setup. What else you got for us here today?
I'm in Tesla long term. Look at the
you're having a good morning then, because Tesla is responding to the CPI print here today, up almost 2% here in the pre-market. We're actually just shy of this 350. Sammy, I know I'm kind of throwing you a curveball here. Our group has really talked about 350 to 360 being this really kind of sticky resistance area that we've struggled to get over, and it appears as if at a minimum we're going to test that here today. What are your thoughts here on Tesla in terms of key levels and what traders should be looking for?
So since you asked, I just looked in the newsletter. I have a call published on Tesla, and it's already an open position with two targets on it, 365 and 420. So okay. I just looked since you brought it up.
Yeah, those are pretty good targets. And actually, that's a really good reminder here. Join Sammy's free webinar today after the market closes at 4:30 to learn how trading mentorship can skyrocket your results. We put that link there in the chat. We also have a QR code that should work here this week. So really good stuff. Okay, it looks like you have some pretty good targets here on Tesla. Giddy up. Maybe we'll get this one here today.
Maybe. I hope so.
All right. One stock that I did want to ask you about from the last time that you came on here was Yin. This is kind of back to the China theme. You had said that you weren't in the, and correct me if I'm getting any of this wrong, please correct me. But I'm trying to recall it from memory here. You said that you were going to keep your eye on it, and $42 was a trigger here. One of the reasons that I'm asking you about this here today is because it looks like we did kind of ramp off this $42 level. We're coming back into it. We're actually at 42.04 here today. And it sure looks like we're holding this 50-day moving average, which is at 41.83. So just about 42. So your $42 level that you were watching was absolutely spot on. Let me just ask you outright here. Is this a long setup?
It is, and I love the monthly chart on yen. The only issue that I have with it is that it seems to like want to go and not go, meaning it seems to not follow through so far. But if it can just produce some follow through, that monthly chart looks fire, looks
Yeah, it does.
amazing to me.
Yeah, this is what bottomed and based since October of 2022. This would be a great launching pad if this thing can really get going here. So, okay, maybe keep your eye here on yen. Trade this against maybe that 50-day moving average.
Right, I agree 100%.
Okay. One more that I wanted to ask you about, and then I'll just turn it over to you for pretty much anything that you want to talk about. Another show favorite here today, ticker BA. This is, of course, Boeing. And the last time that we talked about Boeing here, I think you said that you loved it. I want to make sure that that's the case here. We're talking about in July, this thing was going to hit 250. Boy, Sammy, you got extremely close. 242.69 was the high print. We actually had a trend. Excuse me. We actually had a trend line that we were peaking above. We really couldn't hold it. We have since lost that and the 20, but we've held the 50. So let me ask you if there's any update here on Boeing. What do you see here on ticker BA, or is this trade just over?
No, I honestly think it's headed back to the monthly highs of 265 or so. Now it doesn't look incredible. And Boeing was, when I came on the show last time, it was already, I mean, it was a really bullish name, but it was already too late. Like it was already gone. So I do think Boeing goes back up and retests the prior monthly high of about 260. It's actually the prior monthly high is 267.50. So somewhere there. Look, as long as the market stays bullish, the vast majority of US stocks, they're going to just follow the market. That's what the market is. So Boeing is a major company in the US. It's just going to keep going up with the market as long as the market doesn't top out. Now, is it something that I would recommend today to get in it? No, I think it has limited target.
Okay.
Doesn't have a great setup. Like you said, it broke out and then came back in really hard. So it's not something that I would recommend getting in now, but I do think it continues up with the market.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a perfect segue. Is there anything that you do think traders should take a look at for right now? Maybe today's session, maybe the rest of the week here. What is setting up as we speak?
Well, it depends what you like to do. But if you like swing trading, I like Guild. I have a call on it in my newsletter, GILD. It has a nice setup on the daily chart, and it looks phenomenal across the board to me. On daily, weekly, monthly, it looks just higher, higher, higher. So I have a call on that. Let's see. So
I'll tell you what, this guild chart really quickly here, this guild chart, this 120 area, this looks like this is either going to be a double top or this is going to be a breakout.
I agree. And I'm counting on it being a breakout. We'll find out. So I like it a lot. People ask me all the time, well, do you play short? Yes, I play short. So I like Xerox XRX as a short. Okay. Also, if it can break down under the base. But
I think I see exactly what you're talking about right here. So a retest of this low here around 365, you're looking for maybe another move lower?
Right, exactly. If it breaks under 410, I'm playing short. I think Snapchat and GME, they look horrible. I don't have a position. I don't have a call on them. I think they look lower. If you look at Snapchat and GameStop.
Now, Snapchat just had earnings and they got snapped, frankly. So this now revisiting the like usual, exactly. This now revisiting the Liberation Day low. So, okay, so you expect some more downside here on Snap. What else you got?
Another name that I like long-term is GH. It's a healthcare company.
Okay.
Look at the monthly on that. That looks pretty good longer term.
Okay. I like.
Yeah. So
Does this? Let me ask you. What separates this from some of the destruction that we're seeing in names like UNH, Humana? Forgive me, I'm not familiar with Guardant Health, so maybe it operates a little bit differently. But how is this different than some of the carnage we're seeing in some of these other healthcare names?
That's something that stood out about it, honestly, that, wow, this is healthcare and it looks like this. I like it. But I don't know exactly what they do here. It says it's a high growth, mid cap oncology diagnostics company. So it's not so much of an insurance company. It's more of an oncology diagnostics company. So it's different and it looks different. So I like it. I like anything that's unique, basically, that's
Yeah,
on its own, that stands out.
yeah, this makes a lot of sense now that you mention it here. A leader in liquid-based cancer tests for clinical and research use. So, okay, so that's much different here. Actually, it looks like it's got some pretty good coverage and some pretty good trend and momentum scores as well. So, awesome here on GH. I love this because this is a new issue. This is one that, again, we don't often look at. So we're just kind of expanding our stock universe here. And am I guessing correctly here that you want to see a breakout above 60?
So on GH, let's take a look. Yeah, what I ultimately want to see is a sideways week this week and play it as a breakout plus a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly chart. So I would love to see it go sideways this week and then next week take a position in it as a long-term play.
Gotcha.
So that's what I'd like to see.
Okay. Well, awesome. We'll see if that sets up here. Is there anything else that you want to cover here today?
No, I'm about to start scanning the gaps because that's my bread and butter for day trading. So I do some day trading, I do some swing trading, and I do some long-term trading. It suits my personality. I don't like to focus on just one thing. I get a little bit bored. So now I'm about to start scanning for the gaps, and then I'll come on the mic and trade them at the open.
Okay, awesome. I got one quick question here from a viewer. If you can answer it, great. If you don't, no worries. We'll figure it out. Do you think you can ask Sammy about the prop firm they are affiliated with called Trade Funder? I'm looking for a prop firm for stocks if you have the time. Any opinion on that for our viewer?
I don't think I've ever heard of Trade Funder. I know we have a prop firm, but I don't think I've heard of Trade Funder. Let's see. I see it, but I don't know that it's associated with T3. Honestly,
Okay.
I've never heard of it before.
Okay. Well, that's what happens when you ask questions live here from the chat. Tom, we'll see if we can get you an answer on that. But
Yeah.
Sammy, I appreciate it.
Of course, absolutely. There is an email, a couple of emails at the bottom. I see. I went to the website that they can reach out to, support@tradefunder.com. So I'd just reach out to them.
Okay. All right, folks, if any of this sounded interesting to you or you want to see the results of some of those scans, be sure to join Sammy's free webinar today at 4:30. Learn how trading mentorship can skyrocket your results. Sammy, we appreciate your time. Every week that you come on here, we'll take a look at some of these plays, appreciate some of your insight. Have a good one, all right, my man?
Ryan, appreciate being on your show. You're so positive. Love the energy. So thanks for having me again.
That you're more than welcome. That's how we do around here. It's a lot better than being sad and complaining all the time. Sammy, have a great rest of your day. We'll speak with you next time, okay?
You too, sir. You too.
All right, Sammy Abusad from T3. I tell you what, every T3 guy that we have on here is tremendous. I didn't want to say guy because in case they bring a gal on here, I'm sure she's going to be tremendous too. Really good stuff there from Sammy. He gave you some very, very specific stocks, targets, and things to look for here today. Be sure to check out that webinar if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, let's get back down to brass tacks here. We are going to have 13 pretty soon. The market is doing a good job holding higher here. S&P futures still up by 0.56%. Here, you know what? Before we do anything else, let me just take a quick glance here at Ondas. I know this is what we're looking for. First of all, this daily chart is starting to look awesome. Finally. And by the way, we were just talking with Sammy. He was saying, look at the monthly chart. It's been basing for a long time. I know this is a daily chart, so it's not quite the same, but look what happens when stocks can base for a long time and really kind of figure out where it's supposed to be. You can really get a launch when things change here. And it does appear that things are changing here. Ondas shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q2 financial results and issued full year 25 sales guidance above estimates. And that's really what we wanted to see, right? This is the presentation that they had, what was it, a month ago or several weeks ago? It was like a 2.5-hour presentation in the middle of a Tuesday. And I give them credit because they covered a lot of stuff in there. They told you about where they're trying to go with the business. And if you are bullish on that, it was a good presentation. It was long and there was a lot of material in there. And some of that can be dry. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's not numbers on the bottom line. But that's what we got here today. And that's where things are a little bit different here. So as mentioned earlier, I was kind of glossing over it here. The EPS of an 8-cent loss, that beat the 10-cent loss estimate. That's awesome. They're losing less money than estimated. Sales, 6.273 million. That beat the 4.971 million. And on top of that, we have the guide higher here. The guide higher here is not huge. They guided 25 million sales versus the 24.21 estimate, but it is still a guide higher. And as 13 and I have covered at great length here, it is the company's guidance that has really determined what that company has done. Poor guidance, lower guidance, your stock might get crushed. Good guidance, you have a chance of either hanging in there or trading higher here. So really good stuff. Let me see if there's any, let me bring 13 on here real quick because bless him, he's ready to go. And this might give me an opportunity to actually kind of skim through this and see if I can pull out anything that might be of use to us. Let's bring him on. 13, good morning. How you doing, man? Happy Tuesday.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? How are you doing? I feel blessed.
Okay, good. I'm glad that you feel blessed. I'm blessed now that you're here. I also love the color of the shirt. That's one of my favorite colors of all time. It almost looks cerulean, a little bit darker perhaps, but I love it. And obviously we have Ondas here reporting earnings, and I love that as well. So I'm sure you want to go through the movers. I was hoping that I could at least have maybe 20 or 30 seconds to kind of skim through this and see if there's anything in here that is really kind of appealing.
Go.
Okay, so we're just going to have dead air then. Ondas delivered a record quarter with 6.3 million in revenue. That's good. So another record quarter here. We continue to see robust international demand for autonomous drone technologies across the defense and homeland security markets. That's good. I don't think they're going to have any trouble selling in the United States. So the fact that they also have international exposure should be great for a potential ramp here. Financially, we've made significant progress. This has been the really tough thing to kind of hold out through. We ended Q3 with over 68 million in cash. And in July, we retired the remaining balance of Ondas's convertible notes, putting us in a strong financial footing with record customer activity, a growing backlog, and deepening visibility. We are building a highly scalable platform. This is really what's going to be awesome for us as long-term investors, is if they can scale this to unseen heights here. We expect to exit 2025 with record backlog, a clear revenue visibility into 2026. Tell you what, I will go through this with a fine-tooth comb a little bit later when I have some time, but I haven't really seen anything here that is giving me hesitation. When you're dealing with a small company that's trying to mature and grow, these are exactly the types of things that you want to see. Now, I know this didn't have the reaction like Astus did last night, but I think that this is still very, very positive going forward. So I'll go ahead and read this a little bit more when I have some more time, but giddy up. Good to see a good report here. Good to see Ondas trading higher here. I do think 4 is on deck here for today. We're only 15 cents away. Okay.
Tough resistance level. So we'll see how that manages when it gets there.
Yeah. Okay. Frank. Oh my God, Frank, you are awesome. First of all, good morning. It's great to see you here. I forgot my phone in the other room and I said, I'm going to have to go get it. I've already forgot about that once. Thankfully, Frank has my back here. 13. Do you want to just do the movers here real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to start with ATNF 180 Life Sciences here?
Yeah, we can start with that one.
Okay. I'm going to leave this on the screen. I'm going to go grab my phone. I'll be back in less than 20 seconds.
All right. So ATNF 180 Life Sciences. This is Moving on, news that we may want to look at as already old news because we already know about them raising capital to buy Ethereum, and they currently hold it right now. They in the PR here at 8 a.m. they say that they hold 82,186. They said that that's given them 349 million in Ethereum. According to my calculation, with the price that we had today, that's number is closer to 358 million. So as Ethereum goes up, so do their holdings. And they also have cash at the same time. So the question of whether or not they're going to need to raise capital is completely out of it. Don't even think about it. They have it. They have it. Now, the problem that I have with this is that their float's a little bit large, 149 million. So this could still move pretty well, but with those large numbers, it's probably not going to give all the great moves we typically get out of these smaller float names. So we could see some slow moves up, some slower moves down. It just, but I still expect there to be somewhat some volatility with this because crypto is still apparently hot, especially Ethereum. So that's what's happening with this. I have some levels for this one. It looks like we got a support area down at 480. We are trading above that. So the next level I'm looking at here is going to be 575 and then 625 after that. We do have the 671 pre-market high. But if we manage to continue going higher than that, there's more resistance in the sevens, and then $8 is the top resistance area that I have for today. We could still go higher than that, but for now, 8's where I'm going to draw the line. We'll see what we end up getting later on this morning.
Okay. We actually had a story about this. I didn't have time to get into it here, though.
Okay.
But now I'm just going to highlight a couple of things from the story since you already broke it down like a fraction. They're using debt to buy Ethereum here. So the firm issued 156 million in convertible notes that were due in 2028 to an unknown institutional investor. That was according to a press release. The proceeds will be used to buy more Ethereum, expanding its recently announced treasury strategy focused on the second largest crypto. The firm plans to officially rebrand as ETHZilla Corporation. Are you bullish, bearish, or neutral on this one, 13?
I have no opinion. After that name, I have no opinion.
I was actually hoping for a reaction, but
that's my reaction.
The one that I got was actually even better than I had hoped, so I'll take that. ETHZilla. ETHZilla, baby. You got it, producer. All right, I know we're having a lot of fun here. Really quickly, we talked about this yesterday, so I just want to spend about 20 seconds recapping it. The offering, this offering follows an increasing pattern of leveraged debt and equity to buy Ethereum. This is similar to Michael Saylor's strategy where he's buying Bitcoin with debt. However, the Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin has warned that over-leveraging practices of companies holding ETH could possibly trigger a collapse of the cryptocurrency. So something to watch here. Personally, I don't think that Ethereum is going to collapse. I think that you can file this squarely away with all of the other predictions about crypto that just didn't come true, even like a little bit. I expect crypto to have more than one pretty prominent sell-off. I'm sure we're going to get the Peter Schiffs of the world out here doing victory laps far too early. I just don't see it really collapsing to nothing. But the warning is still a good one. Be careful when you're dealing with over-leveraged companies here because they can still manage to screw it up, even if the underlying asset, in this case Ethereum, is okay. All right, ATNF, really good job with the levels there, 13. Let's move on here. The next one, Wide Open West, there's nothing here. It's funny because we just talked about this the other day. This was an internet company that my family switched to when I was younger because Comcast is just so terrible. Wide Open West shares are trading higher after the company agreed to be acquired for $5.20 per share. Stock was $3.39 yesterday. If you have this, today is your day. Ring that register and move on, but there's nothing here for us to cover. The next stock here, however, is a little bit different. This is going to be Gevo, and it looks like somebody in the chat, Easy Java, check out Gevo. Maybe a big short squeeze here today. All right, well, let's take a look at that. Looks like Gevo ramped yesterday in the after hours, closed at about $1.20, went up to about $2.20 in the after hours, and this is on the back of their earnings report. The Gevo's Q2 EPS, 1 cent, that beat the 6 cent loss estimate, so nice beat there. Sales, unlike Ondas, actually missed here, 43.4 million, missed the estimate of 50.78 million. do we have a guide in here?
I think
10
that was
plus
their
million
guide.
quarterly income boost from clean fuel credits while accelerating the ATJ 30 deployment. I'm sorry, 13. What was that?
I think that was their guide right there. The target of 10 million plus. I don't think I saw anything else about their guidance.
Yeah, me too. Okay, well, this is their first ever quarterly profit. That is causing the stock to go higher. So let's investigate the claim here made by Easy Java. Let's take a peek at the short interest here. 17.03%. That is of the last read. We're actually due for another update here shortly. So this number is a bit stale, and it has been increasing. So there is the possibility here that the actual percent of float short is a little bit higher. I mean, frankly, it could also be a little bit lower, but given the trend that we've seen here, could be a little bit higher. And here we go. Days to cover of 11.33. Now that comes on an average volume of about 4 million shares. Today we've traded 18 million shares. The float here, though, this is the big one. This might be the important number of the day. Float here, 236.7 million. Definitely thick. So I don't think we should really expect this thing to be like 1,000% runner just based on that float. Stranger things have happened. We'll see. 13, what do you think here on GEVO?
Yeah, I think you're right about that with the float being pretty large. I expect that that's going to come into play a lot today, and it looks like it's already is. This I remember trading this one back during the pandemic, and this thing has really come down a lot. One thing that I was wondering if we were going to ever see with this one is if it was going to reverse split, because it was trading under $1. I don't think they received any NASDAQ compliance letters, but this is one that does have a large enough float that where it would really benefit them if they ended up doing that. But let's look at some levels here, because we know that they do have some cash. I don't know that they'll be raising capital anytime soon, since they're showing some profitability now. But as far as levels go, I have 160 as support, with from here resistance being 185, 205, and 225. And there's also a bit of a downtrend that we have going on here since that high from the pre-market. So if we do manage to find some footing here, I'd look for this trend to break. That might give you some acceleration to retest these levels. But that float is, as you pointed out, going to be the big concern with this one.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Okay, good stuff here on GEVO. We'll see what we get here on this one. Zach McCracken, many are trapped in GEVO.
It certainly are.
So 13, this brings up another really good point. We talked about the float, but here's the thing. And again, this is one of the reasons why we cover this with Mark Petrino on a weekly basis. The stock market is actually a psychological experiment here. And if you have a whole bunch of people are trapped, what do you think they're going to do if the price keeps going up?
They're going to try to get out of this.
That's right.
Every opportunity they have.
That's exactly right on the money. So just kind of expect that here. GEVO was a well-known buy from about various people in Congress about 6 months ago. Well, we can click on government trades here. Actually, it looks like Chris Jacobs is the only one that I have. He looks like he sold. Boy, I don't have any recent stuff here from Congress. So let me check in on this. This is all from 2022. I don't want to make an assessment based on that, but pretty good. Tom saying the same thing. So we must be missing something there. Let me check this out here, guys. First of all, I appreciate how sharp you folks are in the heads up. Let me check on this. Let me just make a note of this real quick. Beep, boop, bop. All set. All right. Next stock. We'll just keep rolling here, 13, as long as you're ready with that. HBI, this is Hanes Brands. Now, we have a rumor going on here of an acquisition, but we have nothing finalized. So I think that there's still a trade in here. We'll see what 13 thinks. Hanes Brands shares are trading higher after the Financial Times reported that Gildan is nearing a deal to acquire the company. Now, more specifically, I think, didn't they give? Yeah, Gildan nears deal to buy Hanes brand at about a $5 billion valuation. The market cap coming into today was $1.7 billion. Okay, stock is up nearly $2 here, looking at about $6.65. That's the news. That's what's going on here. UBS has a buy on this. Their price target is $9, so we're actually still $2.50 away from that. Short interest on this name. 14. Oh, look at that. We got our new. That is effing hilarious. We got our new print in between the last stock and this stock. Let me actually confirm that here real quick. That's amazing. We just got this update here, effective as of yesterday. We now have new short interest. So really quick, that GVO short interest that we hypothesized, that's actually ticked down slightly. Still elevated, though. Wouldn't draw too much from that. A look at HBI here, 14.79% of the float shorted. This comes on 8.28 days to cover. So this, too, still also has potential short squeezability. 13, what do you think on this one?
I was just starting to look at this one when I needed to come on, so I didn't get too deep into this one. But here we are with another heavy float name. Now, if they are getting, I mean, I haven't done the math either, so whatever their share structure is, multiply or divided by that, the valuation that they're supposed to be acquired for, that's what the buyout price is going to be. But I didn't do that math, so I don't know. But looking at the chart here, I have a $7 level that I've marked off here from a while back. This goes down to the pandemic low. That's the $7 where the $7 level comes from. And since the pandemic, and we've lost this level, it has been having a very hard time staying above it. We did trade above it back in October, but lost it again as the new administration took hold. We actually gapped down, and that's where we're at right now. We are about to enter a gap. Now, I don't know if 7's going to provide any resistance, while transitioning this gap. But this gap starts at about, just about 10, 15 cents away from here. And it fills, where's this body at? This fills at about 7.35. So that's about the best I have right now. I'm sorry I didn't have more time to get into this one. But $7 is going to stand out. And that gap fill, I think, is going to be in play today if we don't sell off here at the open. We also have that 200-day SMA that can provide support if we start trading down at the open from here.
Okay, really good breakdown there on HBI. Let's see if we get a trade or perhaps more news to maybe finalize this deal here. But that's what's going on. Is this a buy the rumor, sell the news? You folks tell me how you're gonna follow this. Okay, Tilray. So we talked yesterday about the pot news and all of that. MSOS. I actually maybe I piked that. I'm out of that. That worked just for about $1. Small position, but it worked for about $1 pretty quick. Some of the others today. Yeah, so some of the other stocks are actually following along here. Tilray is one of them. So I wanted to just start with Tilray just because it's on the list, but I'll actually go to MSOS. You can see it's actually also on the list. It's just a little bit further down. Tilray up 20%. This stock had a big ramp yesterday. This is a penny stock for you penny players. We're in dollar territory today. Sure looks like 114, 115 might be the area there. For us to possibly break and go higher. We'll see if Tilray has the strength to do that. But again, this moving on the pot theme that we talked about. Here is MSOS. So you can see we actually did go higher here today. No exposure for me. If this comes back in, I actually would consider rebuying this because I think there's a little bit more. But I was basically just playing this for the short kind of turnaround on the catalyst that we ended up getting. So we'll see what the price does here in terms of leveling out. But there are some other stocks that we often talk about in the same theme. CGC is one of them. 13, I think you mentioned ACB yesterday.
Yeah, that was another one that moved.
So here's another one. These are all kind of, active here again. Jumpy. That's a really good description. ACB is only up 1%. Tilray obviously up 20+%. So there's some divergence in there, which is why I thought the ETF made a pretty good play. 13. Do you have any thoughts on cannabis as a whole? Maybe not Tilray specifically, but anything on the cannabis as a whole.
So Trump had tweeted about this. This is what got the whole thing started, or it wasn't a tweet, it was a truth. Or he had made an announcement that they're going to be looking at it, and they'll make a decision in a few weeks. Well, in a few weeks is when Congress gets back from their summer recess. So I think the timing of that is pretty interesting. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But I don't think this move is done. Now, the other thing that has to happen here, because just rescheduling this is only a piece of the puzzle. We need congressional support as well in the form of the Safer Banking Act. That's actually designed to help these companies that are involved in marijuana, as well as some of the banks that want to be involved in it, to have greater protections and be able to do business with these companies with this product. So I think we're gonna need to see a lot more happen, but this is a good start, and we'll see what happens in a few weeks or in the coming weeks as this gets discussed more, because I believe it's going to be.
Okay. Tilray here also reporting earnings. I think I glossed over that. Shame on me. Q2 earnings were released today before the market opened. I don't see it in here, though.
What's that?
It says Tilray reported earnings here and that the conference call is in progress, but I don't have any details on their report. And they expanded their hemp-derived Delta-9 THC beverage lineup, Fizzy Jane and Happy Flowers brand. Okay, well, all right. Nonetheless, that's what's going on here with Tilray. Really good breakdown. We'll see if we get some more action on this. Let me move to the next stock here. This is XFOR. I feel like, didn't we talk about this one recently? Didn't we talk about this one on Wednesday, August 6th last week? Maybe it was one of these other days. I feel maybe it was this day, July 24th.
I don't know. Like, what's an X for? Not marrying, something like that? I don't know.
Take that. Also, I think that Smoke Tuna had this on his AI, Tuna AI signal. I think that's where this came from. Nonetheless, though, here, X4 Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher. The company announced a $60 million public equity financing here. That sent this stock moving from about $1.40 up to $2. We've come back in. We're testing the VWAP right now. Short interest on this name, 14.4. Boy, I'm glad we got that update here. This is considerably higher, almost a triple from the last report. So some increased short interest here in the last 2 weeks. 14.4% of the float shorted here and 1 day to cover. That comes on an average volume of, let me go to my next tab here, average volume of just under 1 million shares, 847,000. Today we've traded 30 million. Days to cover should be no big deal here today on this one. Float of 7 million. What do you think here on XFOR?
I think when I look at the chart, it hasn't really moved a whole lot, but that's because it's such a low price stock. We're not even at some of the early resistance levels that I'd be looking at here, which would be about 225, maybe 260. So I'm not sure how much we're going to get out of this, but we do have an interesting trend line taking shape here in the pre-market that looks like it could get broken if we do get it. Actually, we've traded past that a little bit. Maybe not. I don't even know if I'd like to lean on this, but it does look like the price is trying to recover. We are back above the VWAP, so maybe we do get going here. I'm just not exactly sure how I would draw this trend line. So, but I do think that we could lean on some of these other levels like 180. Looks like 190 was having some trouble earlier this morning with all those series of upper shadows there before we saw downside. So I'm not sure how much we're going to get out of this. We can still try this one, but let's just be careful here with this one because I'm not sure how great this will be.
Okay, good stuff there on X4. Smoke Tuna here saying low volume day, so sit back and relax and wait for the solid trades with volume. That's really good. Don't try to force it here today. And also don't try, I brought you on. I don't even think I really mentioned this. Do you have any opinion on the CPI data that we got that sent the market higher here this morning?
Yes.
If you need me to go over those numbers again here real quick, I can do that.
Those aren't the numbers I go over. I look at the actual report and go over the numbers within, because as we get from that one quote that we're never going to forget from Tom and our group, the devil's in the details, and that's what I've been looking at here with CPI. And every time that we get a CPI lately, it's always very similar things. It tends to be more inflationary on the services side. Now, I only took a quick glance at it, noticed that some things were certainly on the services side still being sticky. But let me take another look at it later, and I can give you probably a better assessment of it when we do happy hour later.
Okay. All right. Well, that's what we got here for today. We'll see how the action actually trades here today. Okay. Sorry about that. Next here, ON On Holdings. This is the shoes, right? The On shoes that are amazing. You all should buy. I love mine. I'm on my second pair already. They're fantastic. Anyway, On Holding shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q2 sales results. This stock is up nearly 20% on the back of this earnings report. EPS, 11-cent loss. That missed the 19-cent estimate. Sales, however, beat 906 million versus the 850 million. So does look like they're taking market share, at least on a sales basis there. Full year 25 revenue expected to be more than 3.5 billion versus the 3.5 billion estimates. That actually looks pretty in line there. Looks like we did have some Form 13Gs in here, which I did not go through. see, what did we have in here?
I'm trying to see what their big margin issue was.
13.8% stake. Say again. Sorry.
I'm trying to see what their big margin issue was that led to the loss. I'm, thinking it may have to do with tariffs, but that's kind of what I was looking at to see if they said anything about that. Do you know where they get their shoes made? Is it like Vietnam, Malaysia? Is it one of those apparel manufacturing countries, or is it all done here? Like that. Those are the things I want to know looking at this report, because it's great that they are guiding higher. It's great that they had this massive double digits sales growth, but that 11-cent miss, that's what I'd be looking at. I'm wondering why that's as low as it is, and if we're going to continue getting that or not.
Okay. Do you want me to check here
No, I don't think it's as important for the purpose of trading. I mean, the stock's taken off and nobody cares. So we could look at levels if you want.
Yeah, let's definitely look at levels. A1 here, really quick. A1 says, I'm looking for a good shoe brand for walking, and comfort is on really good shoes. Yes. So I've been a New Balance guy my entire life. I don't wear Nikes. I think they hurt my feet. I don't care for them. I've worn New Balance since college, and I really haven't gone to any other shoe. I tried Hoka. They are just very cheaply made. They break down. On are completely different. These fit very much like New Balance, at least in my opinion. They're super comfortable. They're lightweight. They're good looking. They're awesome for walking and running. So I would definitely advise that. 13. Let me know what you have here for levels.
Okay, so we this stock has been trading in we can call it a triangle since the beginning of the year. We just bounced off the bottom part of it, and now we're over the 200 and the 50 and the 20-day SMAs. So if we continue to bounce within this triangle, we're going to be looking at a top of about 58.50, maybe 50, maybe a little bit above that, like around 59, because that's when we'll hit the top end of this triangle. And if we continue to bounce around within it, that's where we're going to see resistance. Now, we could also break out of this thing. That's certainly a possibility that could happen. And if that's going to happen, then it'd be a 60 break. So that's what I got for on. And I don't know if we're going to start, we're going to see all those levels today. But one level that does stick out that I think we could end up hitting is going to be about 56.
Okay. Real quickly here, there are two that I wanted to cover off the movers list, and then we can do whatever else you wanted. First one here is going to be Zena. Pretty amazing, because I don't know if you remember, but wasn't Zena given to us yesterday by Zoltan? Or is that Zeta? Z-E-T-A.
Z-E-T-A.
Okay, I was going to say, because boy, oh boy, what an overnight call that would have been, Zoltan, here, as this is trading up by 14.5%. Anyway, here is what the Zena chart looks like. You can see we are ramping here today. This is bringing us back to levels that we saw at the end of July there, July 28th. They reported earnings here. So they reported over a 500% increase in year-over-year revenue for the second quarter of 2025, and over 250% increase in revenue for the first 6 months of the year. So getting a pretty good revenue number there. Market is rewarding this. This stock trading up by 67 cents here. Actually looks like it's doing a pretty good job consolidating here. We're basically right around VWAP. Quick look at the short interest on this name, 9.68% of the float shorted there. That comes on 1 day to cover. Average volume here is 4.36 million shares. Today, we've already traded 11.5. Float here is 12 million. So what do you think here on ZENA 13?
I'm looking at the chart. Sorry, I kind of ignored the reason why it's up today. I'm just looking at the chart and seeing that we have not only had a golden cross late last month, but we are trading up into an ascending triangle with the resistance area being at $7. Now, if we can break through $7, I think that this could be a pretty good mover. There is this isn't very old. It's IPO'd looks like in October last year, and we do have some other levels we could draw upon where there might be some resistance. I do see resistance at 8, 9, 10, like all the way. Every dollar increment up, there's resistance level. But we don't get to blue sky territory until about 12:43. That's when that's the high, the all-time high from November of last year. But this setup here, this kind of a rounding bottom that we're kind of coming off of, moving up into an ascending triangle. I think that if we do get that movement up towards $7, there's going to be a breakout coming. That's just the way this chart looks to me. It looks great. with the float being as low as it is, we could get that movement. I don't know if we're going to get it today, but the chart looks good for this one.
Okay. Good stuff here on Xena. The next one that I really quickly wanted to mention is Circle, because this was asked about. This had earnings too. This thing is going crazy. Someone had asked about this earlier here today. Circle Internet Group shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q2 financial results. The stock closed around 160 yesterday, 184 here today. Robert, did you play this one? I can't remember. I think you've been on Circle for a while here. Pretty good report, pretty good action, it looks like. Let's see what they did. Sales, 658 million. That beat the 540 million there. And then it's all about the guide, right? So it sees adjusted operating spend. That's not what we're looking for. It sees USDC in circulation, 40% of CAGR. All right. I don't know. I don't really see any other guidance here. CEO Jeremy Allaire reportedly says the Genius Act will drive much broader use of stable coins in payments. So here you go on Circle. This is ripping. Do you have anything on this one, chart-wise, level-wise, or otherwise?
I was a little concerned about the chart, that the downside might not be done. It looks like it is trying to turn around here after getting some support from the 65-day SMA, but I feel like we're still going to see more downside, even fill this gap to the downside before we start turning around. I just don't like this chart formation. It's, if you sort of kind of overlook this wild day we had in June on the 23rd and just kind of look at the other days, we did kind of double top here, and I think that would be a little bit concerning to me. But if we are recovering, what I would need to see is we're doing a lot of it right now, but let's get back above 190. That might convince me enough that this is coming back up. So we'll see what we end up getting here. It looks like it is trying to turn around, but I need to see some other levels recaptured here because I still think that this could go lower.
Okay, good stuff here on Circle. Robert, give me your opinion here on Circle. Yep, Circle going to make me more. Haven't made so much already. Let me know what you think the next move here is in Circle. I will likely stay in Circle with strikes up to 240 with protective puts and tighter stops after each strike. Okay. All right. Good stuff there on Circle. That was all I had. Did I miss anything from the list that you wanted to cover? Did you want to cover ASTS, Space Mobile, or?
We can talk about it. I mean, they had earnings yesterday. The earnings were pretty large miss, but I think we were also looking at some of the other headlines that were coming out of this. That they, like for example, they expect that they're going to be getting 50 to 70 million in the back half of this year. So that should be happening now, since that's where we're at. But yeah, that 41 cent EPS miss versus the 21 cent estimate of sales of 1.15 million, missed the 7.5 estimate. So as long as that's really, I think, the only reason why we have some good movement here, and because I don't think that the short interest is that high, is it? No, it is. Okay, I'm sorry, because I got a wrong read on the other page. 18.22%, less than 5 days to cover. So not as great as some of the other short interest REITs we've seen here, but as long as they can deliver on that 50 to 75 million, I think that they'll be okay. Just don't know if we're going to end up seeing that or not. We'll see.
Okay, ASTS still holding higher here by 11.5% here today. Okay, we can go ahead and take a look. We got 8 minutes left here. We can take a look at any charts that you folks want to take a look at. You know what? We should go over BMNR. You're absolutely right about that. They actually had an offering this morning. It looks like that was getting bought back up, though. Let's take a look here real quick. Yeah, so look at BMNR. Wow. So this actually moved a little bit higher when the pre-market opened. We got news of an offering. It sank it all the way down to $54, but here we are right back at where we were at before this thing fell away. We're actually still up 6.65% here today. Let me go here. Let's see.
Coming up to a trend line.
What's that?
We're coming up to a trend line. If you drop from the high yesterday and go through the high of the pre-market, where the price is coming up to this level, right? Pretty soon.
Okay, so let's do that here. Let's plop that trend line on here real quick.
There you go.
There you go. So this is going to be one of the levels to test here today. Okay, BMNR. All right, let's see what else we got here in the chat. BBAI.
Oh, didn't this one get hammered?
Oh my. BBAI down 32.44% here. Big Bear AI shares trading lower after the company reported worse than expected Q2 financial results and cut its full year 25 sales guidance below estimates. Wowzors. And actually, we're coming into this. So here was this other level that we had identified here at 450. Boy, oh boy, we are coming back into that. This move down might get caught by the 462 100-day moving average, or maybe that 450 level that we had identified way back. This was a previous resistance level, but good God, this is not a good report here. Also, really quick, short interest on this, 30.49% of the float shorted. Oh my God, shorts having a day here today. Ouch is right, Zane. Big move down here in BBAI. 13, do you have anything on this one that you want to go over?
This is one of three that we looked at yesterday in happy hour: ASTS, BBAI, and Archer, and they all had something in common. They had some pretty awful earnings reports. They have very high short interest, but depending on how they guided, I think made all the difference here. And this one did not guide higher; they guided lower, and lower it goes. Now, with that short interest in mind, I still feel like there may be some type of squeezing action happening as a result of this price drop here. I'm not giving any kind of guarantee, but with short interest that high, I'm not ignoring it either. So let's just keep this on our radar and see what it does. There could be a brief bounce, and I wouldn't hold this. There could be a brief bounce that provides a trade, and that could end up being it. So we'll just have to wait and see what we end up getting with BBAI. It's finding some support down here around 480, which is a 480.45, which is about the area where I have support. Next support beneath this that I have is going to be 355. So just going to wait and see what we end up getting out of the gate. But this could get too extended on the sell side at some point, and that might be the opportunity where shorts are going to step in. So I'm not taking this off my radar, but I'm not going to be holding this. And if it does provide a trade, it's going to be quick, and I'm not going to look at it the rest of the day after that.
Okay. Hey, good breakdown there. All right. 4 minutes till we go here. What else do you guys want to see? Joe, it looks like Joe wants to take a look at ELF. Gary, you want to take a look at EQ. Was that the penny stock? Is EQ the penny stock from yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not a penny stock anymore. So, okay, so you know what? What?
Private placement.
The reason that I'm first of all, it's not a penny stock, but also it actually does look like it's moving up here today. 120, I think, is still a spot. Now, 13's talking about private placement in here. $50 million private placement finance to advance the EQ 504. Okay, so that's pretty good here. Stock's up 24% on the back of that news. As a reminder here, let's take a peek at the short interest. 1.9%, so pretty negligible, and 1.52 days to cover. That's nothing. 22.5 million shares in the float here. We're about, what, a third of the average volume here today, so it's likely to eclipse that. What do you think here on EQ?
I think 150 is a pretty standout resistance level, so I would just wait and see if that, well, not wait and see. It's up to you if you want to trade this, but I think that's where we're going to run into the earliest resistance. Let me look at the volume in this right now, because if this isn't trading very well, then I don't even want to deal with it. But looks like the pre-market price action going into the open here, which is in less than 3 minutes, it's trying to get going here. Like it's almost starting a bull flag, but I don't think that I trust this. 114 is the current pre-market high. Yesterday, this thing got as high as 125. So I would just kind of go with this. If we pop up to the 125 and then turn around, then that could be it. But if we manage to get through 125, I'd still think that 150 is going to be the big resistance area to watch for in EQ. Okay.
Good stuff there. EQ. Next here, how much time do we have? 2 minutes. We're going to have to do it fast, but we will, in fact, do ELF. Let's take a look here at ELF. This has actually been a pretty good trade for our group in the happy hour. ELF Basic, this was earnings, right? Wednesday, August 6th, they reported earnings and got hit on that. Is that what that is? Yeah, indeed. That's exactly what that is. We're basically back to where it started here. Actually, we're higher than that. ELF actually looks like this might want to go higher. Here's a look at your daily chart. Boy, it's actually been a little bit since I've looked at this chart here, 13.
I think you might be right. This, if you look at the smaller time frame and look at the price action from yesterday going into today, it looks like we're trying to come up to this high from yesterday at 115.68. And I feel like the chart has a pretty good setup to hit that. Now, if we go higher, great. But if we get rejected there, well, I would think that maybe a cup and handle's coming. But I'd also be cautious of a double top. So I'd have to wait and see if we do get a rejection there, what this ends up shaking out to be. But if we manage to blow through this 115.68, then the next resistance area is going to be, looks like it's going to be in the, hold on a second, about 118 to, I guess 117 stands out as well. But there's we had a big pop in the after hours on August 6th that took us up to almost 125. I want to target that, but I'm not sure if that's safe to do because it was a pretty wild move and it came right back in. So let's just see what happens once we get up to 117, 118, see if there's enough juice to take us up to 125.
Okay. Good stuff there on ELF. We'll see if we can get above this trend line.
10 seconds.
And maybe 125. All right, 10 seconds. We are about to open. Let's go here today, folks.
All right, so I'm going to look at ATNF and see what we get out of the gate here. There it is. We open.
ATNF in focus here out of the gate.
Okay, so that's bouncing around. I'm just going to kind of cycle through these and see what we get. Looks like Jivo's trying to get going here as well.
On this huge, sorry to interrupt, on this huge wall at 4 there, just absolute tons of stock. They're hitting it. So we went right to a 4 test out of the gate here on Ondas. Look out if this, there it is, through here on Ondas, 406, your high now, big time pop here, ONDS.
ATNF had a nice pop that up to near that 625 area. Didn't quite reach it. GEVO, there's a big seller in the way at 182. I remember this has got a pretty large float, so I'm not sure what we're going to get out of GEVO this morning, but we are at that trend line that we drew. HBI, it's kind of just not doing a whole lot right now. A little bit of selling here out of the gate. Tilray trying to take out the pre-market high of 114. X4 also had a break over that trend line, but it came right back in after it hit that level in the pre-market around 805 of 182. All right. Okay. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of action at the moment unless you're Tilray. Well, looks like X4 is getting going here too. So the one that I didn't have enough confidence in actually showing me up. We'll see what happens when we get to where these upper shadows were around 190 to 196. Okay. Xena, this one had a nice move out of the gate, going up to 595. Yeah, Circle also rising too. Sorry.
I was going to say, first of all, Xena rejected right at that pre-market high. That would definitely be a level to take it to watch here today. Ondas here, straight up out of the open. Glenn here saying, look for 457 on Ondas. That's one of your next levels there. Bang, bang, bang.
And BBAI, the short squeezes are already happening. Looks like it's coming up to some resistance area in the, from the pre-market at about 515. So could see some rejection right up in there. As a matter of fact, I see a large seller at about 512. We'll see if it can get taken out. But here we go. We're short squeezing, folks. All right. So there's X4 coming back in under VWAP. Be careful there. Xena also coming in. Circle, this one, looking for 190. ASTS.
Man, this circle right out of the gate. Big time.
BMNR, ugly rejection. Could not break that trend line. But actually, I take that back. We broke it into the open, and then we just sold off. And looks like ATNF kind of just hanging around VWAP a little bit underneath it. Jivo, some selling, not at the pre-market lows, which is 166, but the 200 EMA is down at 162. We could hit that.
Rocket doing its best rocket impression here this morning. This has got to be on the back of that CPI that we got here. Rocket straight up back to that $18 resistance area that we had talked about.
Yeah, probably. I think that you're right about that. That CPI report may have given investors a lot more confidence in a rate cut coming next month.
I think you're right about that, 13.
But
You right.
I'm gonna be waiting to see what Powell's got to say at the August economic symposium later this month.
That's the Jackson Hole one, right? Do you know what the dates are on that?
I believe it's the 23rd. Let me double check that.
Okay. Zach says, when I sell a good chunk of Ondas, I'll sell you Benzinga guy, or I'll send you Benzinga guys a box of Class A booze.
21st to 23rd is when the symposium is.
21st to 23rd. Zach, you're not going to get me to say no to free booze, especially if it's Class A booze. Make sure you get yourself paid, though. I'm glad to see that this is finally working for a huge chunk of people. That makes me very, very happy inside. Very happy inside.
Tilray looking for new. It's trying to take out the pre-market highs. I'm going to try a trend line here, see if this provides some kind of a take profit spot here. As a matter of fact, if it does, we're looking at about 117 to 120 as the resistance area here with this trend line. We'll see if we end up getting that here in Tilray. X4 still beneath its VWAP. Xena coming back in. Circle with a big drop. ASTS is hanging in there. BM&R also big drop, continuing lower.
There's Givo. Here's MSOS 5 test on this one.
How's BBAI doing? That's still recovering. We're above the 65 EMA now and VWAP, and we're recovering. We have the 200 EMA at, I have it at 568. That could be a potential level, but I think we might run into some other resistance prior to that. Maybe at about 525. We'll see if we can get through that first. If we do, then I think we may end up testing that 200 EMA on 5 minute. Okay. It's not looking like a whole lot of great stuff this morning.
I beg your pardon.
Excuse me?
I beg your pardon.
A whole lot.
There's a whole lot of great stuff happening with Ondas here. Sorry, hard for me to contain myself for 13 because we finally got a good earnings print here. And pretty much no matter what happens the rest of the day, I'm going to be pretty good.
Well, I'm happy for you, man. I'm glad that trade worked out.
me
you've
too.
You've been all over it. You've been talking about it every day.
It's been a long, this will be a day long remembered.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just really happy there. Really, really happy about that. Let me actually refresh my platform, see if I can get my signals tool back on.
X4 and Xena also with big downside now, too. We are getting a lot of selling in some of these movers this morning. Circle also taking it on the chin. Next support for that is going to be the 65 EMA down at 172.40. ASTS, on the other hand, this thing is trying to made another session high, 54.88. And I think BBAI, we're still slowly squeezing here, though we've got to keep an eye on the volume because if that starts to, stop expanding, then I think that we're going to run into some trouble here with BBAI. What's up?
I'm laughing at thinking about it. Who just has a knack for things? We need to cover Ondas more. I never hear enough about this stock.
I've never heard of it until today.
Yeah, LOL. Thinking about it, the joke is actually probably the best one told here this morning. In all seriousness, though, here, let me actually throw these EMAs back on. ON, we talked about this one here. This is actually dipping now. It does look like maybe it found some support down here at about $50. Held on to that $50 level. We'll see if we get a move back to the pre-market high. That's up there at about $54 or thereabouts.
Tilray hit 120, getting a little bit of a back off here. I mean, I'm seeing there's a large number of sellers from 120 and every 5-cent increment up here. People want out of this thing, folks, and I'd be careful at this point. Here we go. Now we're getting a pull. So that level I mentioned earlier, 118 to 120, get ready to get in some resistance. Now, it hasn't lost its VWAP yet, so as long as we hold that, we could still try to come back up and go higher. But man, that is a lot of sellers in the way, especially at 150, almost 700,000 shares. Just be very careful, folks. This is got a lot of people that want out.
Okay. Real quick here, we do have a scheduling change here today. Unfortunately, I did hear from Anne Marie. She's a bit under the weather today, so we won't be doing that segment. 13, would you mind sticking around for 30 minutes later here today so we can fill the time right before Paul Meeks? We do still have Paul Meeks. Okay, great. Some extra time here today. Really good stuff on that. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? ProPhase Labs for you penny players is about 40 cents. This actually might take out that 45-cent high. Here's ASTS. We talked about that. Wow, this now a gap and go here after this earnings report. What a move this was. This we got the report, just pulled down immediately to the level that we have marked here. I think it's about 43.5, bounced, and it's now gone higher here today.
Yep. Hey, the three companies we're looking at, ASTS, BBAI. We haven't looked at Archer yet, but let me just guess. Is it squeezing? Oh, here we go. This thing popped up to 989 out of the gate here. We are pulling back right now towards the VWAP, but out of the gate we did get that pop. So it does look like the highly shorted names that had not so great earnings are in play here today for short squeezes. That does look like what's happening so far this morning. BBAI still moving higher, and ASTS just made a session high. So far it looks like it could be the case. Some of these other movers that we're looking at here this morning not having a great morning. ATNF, that's done nothing but go down. Looking for support around the 65 EMA, if not there, 480 to 485. GEVO, this thing hasn't done a whole lot either. It's looking a little weak, but we do have the 200 beneath it at 162. This is one of those heavy float names. So like I was mentioning earlier, we could just see some leaking. Keep in mind, I think this does have some pretty good short interest too. Let me double check that on GEVO.
Okay. Real quick here, TME. This was one that Sammy just talked about here this morning. TME ripping here out of the open. This now up about 14%.
Yeah, a little more than 16% of the float shorted with 15 days to cover on GEVO. But remember, that's got a large float. Probably the largest of the movers we looked at this morning. All right.
We are seeing some Archer calls get bought into this. These are the 14 calls that expire in October. They bought 1,500 of them.
Nice.
Was only about 65K worth of premium on that, but pretty aggressive, pretty sizable buy there for Archer.
Bull is having a good day again. It had a good morning yesterday, and then it spent the rest of the day coming back down underneath 15. Now it's back above 1550, trying to push higher. So still chopping around in this one before we make that move up to 18, which I still think is going to happen.
Okay, let's see what we get here on Bull. Rocket's still holding higher here as well. Looks like that backed off the 18 spot so far, but still holding higher.
Looks like HBI went down to the 65 EMA and had a little bounce, trying to recapture the VWAP. This volume has kind of really left this stock pretty quickly. It's not moving a whole lot. Just be careful with HBI, folks. I think the whole trade here is just if they get that deal or not, or that takeover. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this is going to trade too well today. Maybe later. As some of these certainly have. Looks like X4 is trying to take another stab at recapturing VWAP. Xena losing VWAP. Circle trying to find some support down here around 175. ASTS new session high, 55.22.
Meta just straight up out of the open here on Meta. We talked about
how muted it was.
What's that?
How muted it was yesterday. It didn't really do a whole lot.
No, it didn't. It did not really do much of anything yesterday. This now looks like we're in breakout territory. 800 looks like this is next coming up here on Meta.
Crazy. Still looking like a lot of things are weak. I mean, BMNR, this thing just continuing to
so we had a fake out after the offering, and now it's resolving lower.
Yeah, support's going to be down. It looks like 54, and we're certainly headed in that direction. Looks like BBAI is kind of finding a little bit of topping out here. It did get up to almost 150. The high was 147 before we got this turnaround here where there's a seller starting to walk this price down. Let's just see what happens with this. It might not be done as long as some of these EMAs and VWAP can hold up, but we haven't broken down beneath those yet. So let's just see what we get.
Rumble here, this straight up out of the gate. What happened here? Okay, they reported earnings. Rumble on shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q2 sales results. So it looks like we got this in the after hours yesterday. We're getting some more continuation here today. It looks like this is going higher.
I thought this company went out of business. I'm surprised that they're still around. This is another one of those pandemic companies. I remember when this was came onto the scene too. That is a big EPS miss. But it's you said it's going higher. What's the short interest on this? I don't think it's. No, maybe. Wow, that's a lot of days to cover. That's a lot of days to cover. Okay. Yeah, let me just look at levels here. I'll give you some levels on this one because I don't know how much we can get out of this.
Sure looks like the next one here is going to be about in this 340, 350 handle.
The 200.
I have the 200 day at 330. Yeah.
You got it at 330?
I have the 200 EMA. Let me make sure this is correct. 200 EMA 329.
Okay, so there's one. The 200 day SMA is at 367. So I think in this 3 area, especially all the way up to 4, where I think we're going to see even bigger resistance, that looks like the areas we'd want to keep an eye on.
Okay. ATNF, this is rolling over from that pre-market high.
Both ATNF and GEVO have come down to a support area. Let's see if these end up turning around.
X4 looks like this is going for the pre-market high. I've got this at 196, maybe a 2 challenge. Volume actually looks pretty good here. SE, they reported earnings this morning. This is now higher. Boy, this is higher by 18%.
X4, this moved through VWAP, trying to take the pre-market high of 196. Xena is still going, well, not lower, but it's still down here near a 65 EMA. Circle trying to find some footing. And it looks like ASTS might have a bit of a pop here if it can hold VWAP.
ETHA here, this is your iShares Ethereum Trust ETF. This moving higher here. What's Ethereum doing? I see Bitcoin here plunging from its high. That's only down 1,000 points here.
All right. GEVO and HBI, they look like they're trying to recover here. HBI just recaptured its VWAP. Let's see if it can hold and push higher. GEVO still trying to get above its VWAP. ATNF also trying to recover, but it's still a little ways away from its VWAP. And
USAR ripping here. I bet MP is doing something similar. No, actually. Interesting. So what's going on here with USAR? Maybe this is something that I missed.
They are going to supply American-made neomagnets for Enduro's pipeline inspection starting next year. Interesting. Magnets, how do they work?
Magnetism.
I know, it's a joke. ASTS, still getting some support from the VWAP here. Circle, trying to reverse and recapture VWAP. Maybe we're starting to get going here with these names after the selling from the opening.
Smoke Tuna saying he likes the X4 volume here. I'll tell you what, this really needs to get above 190, and then maybe we can challenge 2 there. Man, this magnets, this must be a joke I'm not getting. It's from something that I can't place, huh? What is it?
I ain't telling.
All right, I'm gonna look it up then.
There we go.
Is it like dirty or something? Is that why we're not saying anything?
No.
Is this a How Stuff Works?
No, I think Steve nailed it though.
ICP?
I don't listen to them.
Insane Clown Posse? Oh my God, that's real. I would have never guessed that, guys.
I know, that's why it was fun.
I would have never guessed that. I would have never guessed that. Oh man, great Malenko. I actually remember Insane Clown Posse. There was a period where I did listen to that.
BM&R with the series of wicks on the bottom here may indicate that we're trying to turn around in this one. We'll have to see if we can recapture VWAP, but kind of interesting that we're getting some bottoming action. No, I wasn't. Oh my God, those people. Anyway.
Yeah, no.
Oh wow,
Man, that kind of threw us for a loop here, didn't it?
Yeah, Chuckles have entered the chat. That's hilarious. Tilray, after hitting that 120, big back off. Big back off. Don't have the strength in ATNF or GEVO. The floats are just too damn big.
Tilray, we'll see if we break back down into penny territory here. And then who was it that asked? I think it was Mazur that asked about TZUP earlier. This is Thumbs Up Media Corporation. I don't know what this is or what's going on here. This looks rough, though. What happened?
They announced the pricing of 40
public offering.
Yeah, public market offering. Confidentially market public offering. Oh, nobody knows about it except everybody. Yeah, Joseph Stramel, you're absolutely right. That's kind of what I'm seeing a lot more of than upside. But you know what? I think this could end up, turning around later in the day. So I'm not kind of, calling it yet. Not calling it yet. Let's just see what we end up getting. This is, we'll see if this August SPY pattern continues to repeat. We did get that a print. I think that we actually hit the exact all-time high. No, we actually printed a new all-time high by 3 cents. So congratulations, everybody.
Okay.
So we hit the all-time high. We're backing off. We'll see if this is, we opened. Okay, so we actually do have a bit of a pattern break here. We did not open inside the real body of yesterday's candle. That is something that has been happening ever since the beginning of August. So we may see a bit of a pattern break here. Now, if we start to get the downside from this August summer chop, this is about where we were, especially with the talking last night, Ryan. This is where we could start to see that. We could see the SPY really come back in, maybe even down to where the beginning of August was. So with this pattern break, let's see what we end up getting here because we still have a full day ahead of us.
Yeah.
We've been 21 minutes into the session.
Yep.
And I don't want to start, saying that this is the way it's going to be so early. So let's just see what we end up getting here. We already have a new all-time high, but we are backing off of that. I'm just going to wait and see if we end up getting this turnaround here.
And, one of the things that we were saying yesterday, just to kind of expand on it a little bit, we said, would be fitting if near the end of August, when we're supposed to enter the traditionally seasonally weak month, if the market were near all-time highs and kind of made a double top or maybe even had some type of upper wick. Well, look, this kind of what we're seeing. The only thing that doesn't line up here is that we're mid-August instead of end of August. But other than that, I mean, this is setting up for a move down 13. And I know that we peaked above to set a new all-time high. I think today's close becomes more important.
I think that when we were talking about this yesterday, and we're looking at more of the end of the month for that the downside. I recall from seeing in the seasonality charts that August does a lot of chopping around. So if we're starting to get some of that chop now, and we go down to where the beginning of August prices were, I could see a turnaround that takes us back up, and we just continue to chop around until later this month, when we get the Nvidia earnings on the 27th. I think that's going to make the big market decision, especially with the Qs. X4 will go fast as smoked tuna. So if there is a breakout or a big move coming, you're saying it's going to happen fast and to be ready for it.
And that's on XFOR.
Yeah. So what are we thinking here? A big move beyond the pre-market high of 196, and then it just runs real fast and it comes right back in. Is that kind of what we're looking at here? I could see that happening.
I really want this to hold 178. If this is going to give us another trade here in XFOR.
And if things aren't looking good to anybody's liking, don't trade. Don't force anything. I mean, especially if things could turn around and go and get better later on in the day. There's, this is this is not the only time that we can trade. It's just that once we get to that 10:30 time, that's when folks start to leave for lunch. When they come back, the market does a lot better. So let's just, if there's going to be any trading today, I'll be patient, but I also don't want to force anything because, as it has been pointed out by our chat, lots of selling. Lots of selling. And what else is happening now? So there's a big run with some of these out of the morning. They just turn around and come right back in near their open.
Okay.
ATNF now getting some decent volume, moving over the VWAP. It kind of looks to me like Givo may just continue lower, especially if it cannot hold above this 200 EMA. It really doesn't have the greatest looking pattern right now. Even with this trend line in here, would have liked to see that broken out of the gate, but this now it looks like a descending triangle to me.
AEO, American Eagle, this now selling off here. This down by 2.2%. Looks like $12 might be one of the near-term supports here.
Till the next ad.
Till the next ad. We're actually scheduled to have earnings here. They haven't confirmed it, but it is estimated here to be at the end of August. So 8/28 is the date that I have. We'll see if we can get that confirmed. I almost wonder what those earnings are going to look like, or if the bullishness has been baked into the number. We'll see.
Like,
oh my God, USAR continuing. This is actually on the next leg up here.
Looks like ELF is going to challenge that 115.68 high from yesterday. We are on the doorstep of 115 right now. This thing does have quite a big spread. It looks like it's almost 40 cents. So be careful here with this, with how spready this one is. But I do like the way this chart looks from yesterday going into today. I do think that we'll see a test of that 115.68 at some point. Okay. Now we have the S&P 500 going. I'm sorry, the SPY going from red to green now.
Yep. Let's see where, I know exactly what you're thinking here on the candle. Let's take a look when we get closer to the close. What do you got?
Oh, it looks like there was a truth post. So, of course, the market's up now. Jerome Too Late Powell must now lower rate.
I mean, we kind of, I don't know we kind of expected that, huh?
But the thing is that we were looking at this not that long ago. This tweet comes out about 6 minutes ago, and now the market's up again. So I keep saying it's a tweet. It's not what it's called, but
we know what
old habits.
Yeah, we know what you mean. I gave a disclaimer earlier that I'm no longer going to read whenever any writer, ours or otherwise, writes X, formerly Twitter. I'm no longer going to read that. I'm just going to say X. And if I accidentally screw up and say Twitter, y'all know what I mean. Doesn't matter.
ATNF. This is pushing up to that 625 high, or that 625 level that I had outlined earlier. We move past this. We'll be looking at the 671 pre-market high, and we have other levels above that as well. But so far, we are getting some resistance here from 625. And if ASTS is going to turn around, it's probably going to have to do that soon, or else it's probably not going to get much better. Still needs to recapture VWAP.
ASTS.
Yeah, it was. It had a nice move up to 55.50, but it came back underneath the VWAP. Now it's getting some footing from some of the pre-market highs. So let's see if those hold up. And it's looking like it's going to try and make an attempt to recapture VWAP.
Yeah. Caleb saying, isn't an X a tweet? I use it interchangeably. A post, a tweet. I know what you mean. If you say tweet, you're making a post on social media. Not complicated.
X4. This is trying to get back above its VWAP. So if we're looking for that move, we might be getting it here. Remember,
still think it's 190 on X4 though.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I should be more clear. I still think the spot to break is 190. VWAP is one thing, but I do think we need to get above 190 for this to really get going.
Just remember, it could happen quick here.
I'm refreshing because I'm supposed to test something here for Pro.
ELF has a new session high. It hit 115 and change, 115.09. And I don't think it's quite done. I just don't know that I want to pick it up here. This thing is just really spready. Over 50-cent spread now. Crazy. Crazy. Okay, so X4 still having trouble with VWAP. Tilray trying to recapture the 65 EMA. Looks like Gevo finally getting a little bit of a turnaround here after hitting the 200 EMA. Let's see if this can get going. Is this also trying to come out of a downtrend now? I'm still concerned about the idea of this trading down in a descending triangle, but man,
I'll tell you what, the chart does not look great here on Gevo at all.
It really doesn't. And yeah. I keep thinking, maybe this, and I don't want to talk myself into taking a trade now. If this runs, fine, but I just don't want to force something like this, especially when it has a float as large as it does. So I'll just be a chicken about it and not take it.
Okay. Big Bear Hug asking if it's a rotation day. Let's take a look at the market heat map and see what we've got here. Come on, Dow. Why aren't you going to load here?
That's kind of what I'm feeling, Brent. So I instead of trying to take a chance and losing money, I'll just be a spectator. And if it goes, great. If it doesn't, then I'm safe. Don't need to be forcing any trades on a day where everybody's selling and shorts are squeezing.
Looks like financials the strongest sector here today. I guess IT has some pockets of strength as well.
Yeah, Gevo's going to get a lot of volume because it's got a large float. Looks like we are going to break this. It's coming up to test a 65 EMA.
And you know what else, 13? It actually looks like this volume on Gevo might be shifting from selling volume to buying volume, which would be something.
Remember, there's still a lot of people trapped in this.
Bingo.
I'm not going to be forcing any trades here. Like I said, if this goes, great. I'm not going to be upset about it. But if it goes down and now we're in it, then I'd be way upset about it. So I'm not going to force anything.
With you on that. Okay, 13. I'm going to step away for 1 sec, BRB.
Okay. A sane chicken is a rich chicken. I love chicken. All right, so looking at Lightbridge, LTBR, I want to say that they may have had some news. I thought they were working with Oklo. Yes, they are. Sorry for getting all excited there. I knew I saw some news from Oklo yesterday, and I didn't even think to look at Lightbridge. But yeah, so Lightbridge had earnings. Their EPS was a 16-cent loss, up from 17 cents a year over year. And they gave business updates. Looks like Oklo and Lightbridge are going to collaborate to explore a potential co-location of Lightbridge fuel fabrication facility within Oklo's planned advanced fuel manufacturing facility. So they appear to be working together now. Great stuff. And on the back of that, 21.3% of the float shorted. Now, the days to cover is only 2.9, so not the parameter we're looking for, but still that short interest is giving us a nice almost 20% move here this morning. And Circle Trade Forced 170, Gevo not enough volume. Yeah, I was kind of feeling that it was going to be a little bit too heavy. Thank you, Billy, for that metric. That puts things into some better perspective. And it makes me feel better about not taking Gevo.
MRCY here. Thank you. Kathy, was this you that was on this earlier? Can't remember who was on this one earlier. Mercury Systems trading higher after better than expected results. And also got some price target and rating adjustments here this morning. That's ticker MRCY. Nice move here for this, 20% on this one. Hey,
look at Big B's helping more folks out with the UNH trade. Well done, ATL.
Yeah, unsurprised. Big B's has been a huge add to both here and the happy hour. Great to see it here.
Oh, yeah.
Russ, appreciate you shouting out others in the group for helping. That's I love hearing that. Just really good stuff here all around.
ATNF halted to the downside after getting a rejection around 625. Now it's looking like we might have a head and shoulders happening here on ATNF. 5-minute chart.
NF. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna, probably just not trade or even deal with 18F. I'll still look at it and call out what I'm seeing, but right now it's not looking like it's got the greatest pattern, and we're halted to the downside. So let's be careful. Archer, on the other hand, this looks like this is turning around. Just recaptured the VWAP. We still have about 1:15 left in this candle, so we'll see what we end up getting. But it does look like it wants to try and go higher here. So we'll see if there's a 10 print on display today.
ONDS going for that 432 spot. That's going to be that high impulse move right out of the open. That would be amazing if we break that. Would be amazing. Texas Instruments. Boy, this is ripping out of the open too. This is basically right to where it was yesterday. Yesterday, this thing sold off all day. We're pretty much right back on here today.
BMNR about to make a new session low. It tried to recapture V-up, was rejected. Now it's heading back down to the low print of the session, which is 56.66. The pre-market low is 54. Still think we could get a test of that if we if we continue down here like as we are. And
really quickly, sorry for interrupting you, 13. Okay. For anyone that's using Pro and getting this type of behavior on signals, the team is actually working on this. We actually made a change yesterday that's causing this, so they should have this resolved here pretty soon. It's not really affecting me because I don't really care about halts here today, but if you're looking at that, that should be resolved in the next 30 minutes or so. RMBL, this is back on its highs. So we did recapture the VWAP here, 13, but we could not break those top wicks at 323 on RMBL.
Yeah, it's still holding above my VWAP right now. So I'm just gonna, just kind of wait and see what happens. But I agree that it's not looking the greatest at the moment. Still don't have a clear indication of if it's going to go down or up. So I just would wait. And ELF there we go. ELF continuing higher, new session high, 115.22. Still looking for that high from yesterday, 115.68.
ELF on a new shelf, almost. We'll see if we can take out 115. I know, 13. I know.
I like that one. That was a good one.
Okay. I'm surprised because normally you hate them, so that's good. We'll take that.
You drop bars like that, it's good.
Bars. Okay, that was not on my bingo card, but good stuff. Bob mentioning Rocket here. Rocket, remember, one of the things that we mentioned right out of the open here, this $18 level is going to be a pretty key level. 13, what do we have after this? 20, right?
I would like to see 20. Just keep in mind, 18 is the IPO price. So good. I mean, and there's going to be a lot of people, I think, from between here and 20 that are going to want to get out of this. But, we do have a pretty significant short interest. We could continue to squeeze. As a matter of fact, this might be one of the higher ones we've looked at all day with 37.25% shorted.
Ooh, you know what? I wanted to see you bring up a good point, 13. Sorry for interrupting you again, but I just remembered that we got that new updated print this morning. Look at this. Short interest in Rocket has climbed 5% in the last 2 weeks. Now, the days to cover has gone down largely because the average volume has increased drastically. Still pretty high short interest here, though, on Rocket.
Yeah, and from like 19 to 20, there's some significant consolidation. So I really think that if we do get over 18 and start closing above it, that it's going to have a bit of a challenge getting through 19 all the way up to 20. But I still think it could happen. It just might take some time. We are in an uptrend. If you as long as these uptrends that we're in with Rocket continue, still thinking that's going to happen. I don't see anything yet that would make me think that we're going to lose $16 and $15 yet.
Okay. Yeah, still in this Rocket Tape. I did trim this a little bit. So pretty good. Pretty good. Blazed Rhino mentioning wow. I don't know if he's saying wow to anything or if he's commenting on Wide Open West. Remember, they had a buyout, so I don't think there's any trade here.
Yeah.
Webcoin mentioning Xena. Webcoin, I don't know if I've said good morning to you. Good morning. It's good to see you again. Here is your Xena chart. Webcoin, good mention. This actually might go for these highs. 594 and 6 would be the next target here. Let me take a look and see what the level 2 looks like. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't have much for setups here. Andis actually might be taking out the intraday high. This would be something.
I think Xena has a pretty good setup on their daily chart. I outlined this earlier
Yeah.
about how they had the golden cross recently, and it's trading up into an ascending triangle with $7 being the breakout spot.
I was going to say, didn't they just break this here? I think we had this on here, right?
I didn't draw that, but
oh no, okay. Well, I'm going to draw it.
Oh, that's fine.
F it.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get above that here. I've got this spot here, 566, 567. We'll see if we get above that there towards 580 and 6. Which curb reference did I do without even thinking about it?
Oh.
Look, I'll take that. Curb Your Enthusiasm is phenomenal. Larry David walks on water as far as I'm concerned. I just don't remember what I did there. What I said there.
BBAI might be executing another squeeze of the shorts here. It's happening slowly, but it just moved over VWAP again. EQ looks like that might have found some footing around 86 cents, but I'm only looking at this because we talked about it this morning.
Let me ask you, do you think this move down here in BBAI post earnings drew in new shorts? Or do you think those shorts that were in it covered to take gains?
It could be some of that, but I think that because the price came down so much that it allowed more short squeezing to happen. You know, you can get more shares now because it's such a more of a discount. I think that's what we could be seeing here is that, okay, well, now it's cheaper. I can try to hit this some more and capture more of that, more of a gain. I don't know that that's necessarily what we're seeing here, but it could be. I just think that this was an opportunity for short squeezers or for bulls to step in and squeeze out shorts because of how much it had fallen and how.
Well, that's exactly what I'm getting at here. I'm almost thinking that if we have one of these high of day breaks, it's going to look like the selling has been exhausted, and maybe then that forces a quick bout of short covering. If that's the case, I think we can probably go higher than this. I think probably 6 or thereabouts.
Then let's look and see what happens from about 570 to 590, because I think that was one of the areas following this big drop down where the price tried to recover and it couldn't. So I'm thinking that there may be some sellers in there trying to keep that level down. Now, if we that's what I'd be just waiting for. 570 to 590. I'm interested to see what happens up in there. If the price can get back up there.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff on that. Xena pulled back and lost its VWAP, by the way, from when we were just looking at it.
Rumble about to take out or trying to move up to the session high of 347.
Oh my God. Marcus James Reed says, I used to caddy for Larry David at Riviera. How was that? First of all, is he as funny in person? And second of all, how is he as a golfer? That's amazing. Amazing.
Archer coming up to the session high. It's at 982, looking for 989. That's the high we made so far this morning. Looks like there's a big seller in the way at 990, so that's probably why we didn't go much higher out of the gate.
On this new highs here, as we did take out 432, now 435, your intraday high here on Ondis. What a day. As a reminder, folks, I do have more shares for sale at exactly $5. So if that price ticks $5, I'm going to have more of my Ondis position liquidated. As a reminder, I am going to hold at least 1,000 shares for forever shares. All right, because by that time, I will have liquidated so much that even if those 1,000 shares go to zero, I will still be in profit. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll be holding on to a chunk of that for the long term on Ondis, no matter what it goes to here today.
BTAI halted pop. I don't think that we've looked at that one. We looked at BBAI, but let me look at BTAI. I'm glad these tickers aren't confusing.
No, not at all.
The BTAI, this is that biotech one. We've looked at this one frequently, and this one didn't this move yesterday.
Excuse me.
They had news where they raised 30.4 million. And then today they had earnings where they didn't lose as much money as they did, or they were expected to. So I guess that's a positive. What was the? I know we've talked about this one recently, as we do a lot of biotechs because they tend to be the big movers. But
didn't we talk about this one yesterday? Did some, or was that BXAI? I can't.
I'm pretty sure we did. You know what? I have notes I can drop on to see if we did.
Yeah, no, this was it, right? This is the clinical stage biopharma company that uses AI to identify the next wave of medicines. This was the one we talked about. Absolutely.
Yeah, we talked about it, I think, happy hour.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. He's a great guy. He's pretty old now, so his golf game has deteriorated. Don't tell that to Jay Rice. Jay Rice is experienced and still shoots under par. It's crazy. But he's very serious about golf. Yeah, most golfers are. Played almost every day. Awesome. Lousy tipper. You know, I'm surprised I didn't make that into an episode at some point. Nonetheless, just thinking out loud.
Circle seems to be getting some support from the 200 EMA. I'm not confident yet that this is going to be turning around, but it's just at an interesting spot. So it has potential to, but need a little bit more confirmation.
Knights Lance, Ryan, taking profits is my weakness versus FOMO. Cheers for Onto Strategy. Cheers to you. Look, everyone's strategy is a little bit different. And, you know, especially when it comes to junkier, smaller names, I don't know how junky Ondas is, but when it comes to smaller names like this, you're never in a bad situation taking profit. And I mean, if you're talking about an entry around 1 and taking profit at 4, that deserves a pat on the back.
It's junky until they start getting military contracts.
Yeah, that's true. Caddying for people like David Solomon and other major players retired me from caddying. David Solomon, doesn't he DJ as well? I'm pretty sure he does like electronic DJing, like house music. Yeah, that David Solomon. Yes. The Goldman Sachs CEO. Yes. Pretty sure that's what he does. Let me actually look that up here real quick. Let me make sure I'm not embarrassing myself right now.
Archer, if you're trading this, is coming up to that high of the session. I think it could be a good idea if you're trading this to maybe just adjust your stops.
DJ Saul.
No.
Your CEO of Goldman Sachs actually has sick drops too. That's awesome. I absolutely love that.
That'd be great if whenever he came on to like the conference call that he just dropped a track. That's his intro track. I wish their conference calls were more like parties.
Yeah, I was going to say that'd be something that'd make them a little bit more interesting. Jane, Ryan, I held on this. I got in kinds of high months ago, but it was a 35% gain. Ring the register, Jane. Glad it helped. Any of you that are taking gains, I am happy for you, folks. I am happy for you.
We just had a break of the session high in Archer. It's coming up towards the pre-market high from last week, the 8th. That's going to have a value of 994. Lots of sellers in the way there right now. Just raised my stop a little bit on this one.
This is cool too. I do some film and TV work in New York City. That's pretty sweet. And I worked on a curb scene, the outdoor seating area made of a restaurant when they shot here. Chris Rock pulled up in a limo just to say hi to Larry David. I bet that was a sight to see.
Knights Lance, love the name. Take care. We'll see you again.
Yeah, take care of yourself, Knight Lance. Good morning, or good morning for you here today.
Zach, that's probably a better idea. I'm just trading it today because it's on one of those names that had the rough earnings but high short interest. So just doing it for a trade. I'm not going long for a long period of time in Archer. Just trading it.
And I'll be honest with you, 13, you've done a great job trading Archer. In fact, the last time I traded Archer, I traded it on one of your alerts. I didn't tell you at the time because I basically wasn't doing any work myself. I was literally following you. I ended up making some money off of that. So nice. Cheers, 13. I'll take that.
Ever since Kathy Wood started talking about it, I took a closer look at it, and I liked it and just needed, and I had some pretty good levels. It just, it took a little bit of time for it to turn around. And when it did, it was on a tear.
Aren't we kind of look at what I've got here, 13. I basically have this descending wedge that we might be breaking out of.
Maybe that would be a bullish descending wedge.
Yeah. Well, I basically just drew this from eyeballing it, so we'll see if we end up breaking higher here.
Well, we did go to 993, and that's just a penny away from that pre-market high I mentioned on the from the 8th. So we might get a little bit of pullback here. Rumble current high is 350. We just got that about 4 or 5 minutes ago. Still holding above the VWAP. Givo, this has been riding this trend line that we drew ever since it got recaptured VWAP. Little concerned that on whether or not it's going to break above this or not. But again, I'm not going to be trading that one. ATNF, having trouble with the VWAP, trying to recapture that. Tilray, yeah, as someone mentioned earlier, this beneath $1 now, or it was, yeah, still beneath $1. Got to bounce off the 200 EMA. And I think I just saw, yep, Archer, I just got stopped out. That's okay.
Top Stocks is saying, I think BMR will touch 54 and then trade higher here. So looking at the chart, Top Talk, sorry, I think I got your name wrong. Sorry about that. Looking at the chart here, it sure looks like you think this is going to retest the pre-market low. That was the impulse pull from the offering news that we got in the pre-market. But interesting, you think that this spot will hold and that will trade back up?
It could. I mean, so
let's see what else.
I think one of the reasons why this had a nice bounce off 54 is if you look at what happened the after hours from a couple days ago and the regular session, we went up to the 54 where it kind of found that as a bit of a ceiling. So that was a resistance area.
Is this the candle from Friday?
You got to go to a smaller time frame so you can see the intra day and after and the set. There you go. See, so if you draw a line at 54, you can see that on the
8th. Right here. Yep, right there. And that was Friday. Yes, that's exactly okay.
And then on Monday, we broke over that. We just basically gapped over that, and now we've been. And then the pre-market today, we filled that gap to the downside. Now, don't get that in any of the regular session, but I think that that's the reason why you have this $54 level as support. And I think that gentleman, I'm sorry, I missed who said it, but they could be right about that. So we'll see if we end up getting a double bottom at 54 in reverse. So I'm just trying to say that there's I see how that could be the case with 54. Absolutely.
By the way, so Rocket, I see Rocket moving up here. I told you that I trimmed that position once already. I'm going to set another good till canceled order here. Let me just get this done. So I'm going to trim really quickly. I'm going to trim another piece here if the contracts reach $5. As a reminder here, these are the March 15 calls that we are now in the money on. I paid $1.50 for these. So my first one was $4.50. My first trim was at $4.50. If this gets filled here, my second trim is going to be at $5, and we're just going to book gains. I probably won't trim again until this thing makes a move towards 20. But I just want to raise some more cash here.
Cyril, that problem's solved. They're already building these things.
Which one? Which?
He was saying the problem with electric Archer VTOL is that batteries are too heavy. Do you think they'll solve that problem in time to be part of the Olympics? They're already building these. They're going to have a few done. I believe at their Georgia facility in the coming weeks. They're already building these. So you know, and they've already got certain certifications for airworthiness. So I'm pretty sure that that's problem solved. Givo, by the way, finally got that break over the trend line. Went up to 180, where it might do one.
Yes. Here we go. Let me actually bring Xena, by the way, might be re-challenging the VWAP there at 553. We'll see if that can go higher there on Xena, Z-E-N-A. And
ELF, I think we're 10 cents away, it looks like, from hitting the high from yesterday. 115.68 was the high. We have a 115.58 high today. It does look like Circle is trying to turn around here, although we need to see some better volume out of this one in order to get back up to VWAP.
Yes, Joe here. Ryan, you mean March 20, 2026 calls on Rocket? Yes. X4 is going here. Let me put it on.
Here we go.
Good mention there. 190. That's your spot. We'll see if we get above this. Joe, just to confirm, yes, I have the Rocket calls, the 15 calls that expire March 20th, 2026. They're currently a 465 ask. Here we go on X4. And also Zena through the VWAP there. You know, I'm looking at SPY here. So we are still getting the chop that we expected from August, both intraday. Look at the move that we've made here on SPY. We're actually back up towards the top end of the range. And furthermore, we now have our green candle forming here on that's 13. I'm going to be amazed, frankly, if we get 12 days into August and this pattern has held every single one of those days. That would be something else.
I think it's been nice that it's held as far as it has, but as I was mentioning earlier, I think that pattern kind of broke because we needed to open inside the real body of yesterday. We didn't get that. That's been the
I see. Okay, so you've added that to the
So this is definitely a change in pattern, not the red green. That's still kind of the same for now, but the fact that we didn't open inside the real body as we've done all month when it's going to be a green day. That might be the indication that we're going to see some downside coming. So we'll just have to watch and see if that's the case. CPI print was great, though. I think that was the softer than expected. What we really needed in order to get pushed further into the rate cut camp. So I think that was helpful.
You know, let's see what the CME watch tool had for that, and let me close some of these things here real quick.
Givo still trying to press higher. It looks like it's going to have trouble around 185, though. It's nice to see that it finally did something. It took a little while, though, but nice. And then Archer at 994, so I got stopped out of that, and that went a tiny bit higher.
We're pricing in a 94.2% chance of a rate cut.
All right. ELF has now taken out the high from yesterday, 115.70. So we ended up getting that. And we could still go higher.
BMNR 60. Let me go to BMNR.
That was a great mention on 60, but and I think you could be right about there being resistance. That you have the 200 and the 65 EMAs right there.
And I tell you something, wasn't it Top Stock? Top Talk Stocks. So we did not, I'll tell you what, that prediction that you gave us was almost exact. So this thing sold off to 55.69, did not quite get to the 54 number that you mentioned, but it did bounce here. I'd be curious to see if this can go higher here, if it can hold 60. It looks like it did find some resistance there. Pretty good call, though.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good call so far.
All right, so X4 is, it looks like they just put in a new session high. Yes, by a penny.
Judge, take care of yourself, boss.
Take care, Judge. And X4, I still think this is trying to go for 196, the pre-market.
There's 190 break.
Yeah. Racing HBI knifed. Oh, yeah, it did.
Is it broadsword level knifing or not?
Maybe. Probably not, though. For a broadsword, I'd say just like the whole move is just straight down to where it started.
Okay, fair enough. By the way, Zena is now picking up speed. You know, Tuna, are you still out there? What do you think about what does the signal say about this going higher here? We are actually, I'd love to see this get above 575 here, but furthermore, what I'd really like to see is this volume really start to expand. I think that puts 6 on deck there.
Yeah.
Crocodile Dummy, pretty good call. 3 pretties. Does it really necessitate 3, or is that what I said? I think we're splitting hairs at that point. Smoke Tuna is still here. We're still watching X4. There it is. So that 190 break that we talked about, this is what sent it. 2 tests coming up here on XFOR. Also, you are seeing Zena trade up towards that 575 area. Currently has some stock for sale here at 572. All right. I deleted that. There's 575. Stopped it.
All right, so I think if we get through 2 here on X4, we're going to be wanting to look at 215 as the next potential resistance area. It looks like Archer's trying to get into the 10 handle here. Elf now above. Oh man, this is the pattern I wanted to see with Elf. Just talking about this, great stuff. We didn't want a double top. We're not getting that. I don't think. I think this is more of a scallop at this point. We're at 116.19 as the high. Let's keep going up in Elf.
There we go. That's through yesterday's intraday high. Interestingly enough, here Xena, which we were currently watching here, this actually stopped right at that impulse high here from the regular session. It stopped right there at 579. It looks like backed off that spot. We'll see if we retake that here.
A little bit of a pullback here in GEVO. ATNF still not able to get back above VWAP. Tilray still trying to get support from that 200 EMA, and the longer it keeps hammering this 200 EMA, the more nervous I get about whether or not that's going to hold a support. X4 on the doorstep of 2, still trying to get through there. It might take it here. There, oh, just hit 2. We printed, but we couldn't take out all the sellers. Maybe this push does. You can see that it's, I don't know if you're looking at this, Ryan, but you can see that they're chipping away at these this wall here of sellers at 2.
On XFOR, I actually had Xena up here. I just added a little bit to STWD,
It's
by
going.
the way.
There we go.
Here's X4. Good call there, 13. 202 is your high print.
Yeah.
I didn't see what it looked like when it was there at 2 in terms of what was on the offer. Maybe they refreshed it?
No, they were chipping it away at it. You could just see it getting eaten up.
Okay, so they did chip it and then ate the entire thing because we went higher than that. I'll be curious to see if they reload some more there. Volume is looking good here on XFOR. Tuna, this was another good one, Tuna.
There we go. BMNR over 60, and the EMAs I was mentioning earlier. Let's see if they hold. So if they do, then we're going to be wanting to take a look at. Looks like at this stage about 63.25 would be resistance. 63, 63.25, somewhere in there.
Steve says, let's elfin go. I love that, Steve.
Nice.
I love that, Steve. Marcus says, this is so much better than Trader TV. We'll take those compliments all day. Marcus, good to have you here. Got to be honest with you. Your list of clients that you caddied for is one of the more impressive things I've ever seen, man. That is something else. It is something else. Glad to have you here. BMNR, what's going on with BMNR? I see a lot of people mentioning this. Did Top Talks target get hit?
Just mention that we took out those EMAs. We're looking for 63, 63.25 as the next resistance area. Because we have that trend line that started from yesterday at 70, went through the pre-market. And even though we popped over it in the beginning, we immediately knifed. And now we're coming back up to test this trend line again. And that's where about where the print could be if we get up there. It's about 63, 63.25.
Okay, I'll tell you what, if we get that here, that is going to be a registering for sure, Top Talk. That was I know it didn't quite hit 54, but still, that action was real good.
And if it's not hitting these levels exactly, this is where you want to tighten up I think you tighten up your stops, especially if it's not going to get up to the next target that we're looking at here. It's certainly looking like it's going to go for it, but just to make sure you get paid, I like to raise my stops when we get through some of these levels. And
George Brett bear hugged me. At least he didn't charge you. At least you didn't call back a home run from him. BMNR still going here. GEVO, that slowed down a little bit, still found some resistance. ANTF, that's kind of a disappointment. Didn't do a whole lot. Triple D, 3D systems, this still pushing higher here. What is SSYS doing? It's been a while since we've looked at that. 11 handle, okay, not really a whole lot. 3D systems, though, big rip here.
Looks like ASTS is still getting some support from the 65 EMA, but it hasn't been able to recover and recapture the other smaller EMAs. So a little bit sideways until we get a direction here. It's either going to be the breakdown beneath the 65 EMA or a recapture of the 9 and 15 EMAs before we hit VWAP. And is Jibo getting ready to make this next move If Jivo's going to make another move here off of the 65 EMA, I'm looking at 185 as the next resistance level.
Civi, by the way, this having a nice little day here. This Civi, this was a Tim Melvin pick. Tim Melvin, I think this was back in May. It would have been right in here about in the high 28s. Tell you what, Civi sure looks like this wants to take 33 out and go higher. That would be another Tim Melvin winner if we get that.
Folks, it's 10:33. I think we need to be mindful of that. There's not going to be as much volume as there was at the open here. As folks begin to get off their computers and go talk to their friends about how well they did today or lack thereof, and they have brunch. So let's keep that in mind as we continue trading here, that a lot of follow through might not happen as volume is left. A little bit of a pull here on some of these names. BMNR is coming back in a little bit. Looks like Rumble just had a big drop and is trying to bounce. But this looks like it's going to trade lower. BTAI, I'm not sure if this might be setting up to make another push higher. Now, if we do get this move up through the 65 EMA, I'm thinking that 630 might be resistance again.
Okay.
Still looks like Tilray's putting in a series of wicks, some bottom wicks around the 200 EMA. Does look like it wants to turn around.
Which stock? Sorry?
Tilray, TLRY.
TLRY. Got it.
So it does look like it's trying to put a bottom in and turn around. What else are we looking at here, folks? On has been disappointing. Let's take a look at On. I haven't seen
that just come in from its earnings print. Yeah. And actually, what did the options imply on this one? Let's see. Did we have? Oh, I didn't have it.
And if you get further downside and on, you're probably looking at a gap fill here. So
is this the gap on the daily?
Yeah, because
I see.
Gapped up 20 and 50-day SMA rejections. We're losing the 20-day SMA. This might get some support around 48, but the gap doesn't really fill. If you're looking at the high, it doesn't fill until 47.03, or if you're looking at the real body, 46.64.
Ankit says Tesla. Yeah, we've had so much action here today in some of these smaller names for a change, might I add. We really haven't looked at Tesla other than right in the pre-market here. Boy, the tail of two different sessions for Tesla. This was really bullish in the pre-market on the back of the CPI print. But from the open here, this is actually trading down from the trend line that we have. This was 13. This is the trend line I think you had me put on here. This originated in the end of April, I think.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. We're basically testing that here today.
Keep an eye on X4. As long as it doesn't lose VWAP, it might go for another push. Just keep in mind the same thing I said earlier just a moment ago. Volume on this market is a little bit of an issue. But just keep an eye on it. See if we get this move off of the VWAP.
Okay, so it still looks like 2 is going to be one of your important levels there.
BMNR still pushing a little bit higher, but it looks like it's kind of struggling. The volume that we got from that big move, big green candle that took us back over VWAP, we haven't had volume in a 5-minute candle like that since. So that might be the indication we need to exercise a little bit more caution.
Crocodile Dumb Me with a question here for you, 13. Any thoughts on getting back into Redwire now that it's been 3 days after an earnings dump? So I guess the thought here is that maybe the sellers have been exhausted after digesting that earnings print. It does look like it held 870 here, which was the low from yesterday.
Yeah, it's come down to the 500-day SMA, and this is interesting because the last time it was down around this area in April from the Liberation Day unwind, it was this area that it reversed off of. So could end up seeing that. I think there might be a little bit of a lower print to come. Let me. I know I have some other drawings in my broker. Let me double check that because so there is. It seems like there could be a little bit more of a ways to go, like down into the 7s. before we get some bottoming. So I think there could be a little bit more downside, but I agree that it is trying to put in some kind of a bottom. But I don't think that I've seen enough in order to feel confident that the bottom is in.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I think if you drew a trend line from the low of August last year through the April low that we had this year,
Yep.
that would kind of give me the area that I'd be looking for support to really kick in and cause a reversal. So that's what I'd be waiting for, is down there. Now, if this is a long-term thing for you, I don't think it'd be bad if you started nibbling.
Nibbled on it. Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you're just doing a trade, then I would say let's wait for some confirmation of a bottom.
Nice job, Izzy. Really good stuff here today. Scalping Ondas. I love it.
Top Talks wants to know our take on laser, LASR.
Is that the end light? Let's see here.
Let's go back to a smaller time frame. There we go.
Was this a move on earnings recently? Yes. And then some re-ratings higher? Yes.
So it's trading up today, up in the direction of the highs from yesterday. The high yesterday was 27.80. So I'd be keeping an eye on that level as potential resistance. Let me look at its larger time frame. This thing hasn't. We're trading at prices we haven't been at since 2021. And it looks like you might get some more resistance and all the way up into the 30s. We're just in an area where there's a lot of consolidation back in 2020 and 2021 for reasons I'm sure you can understand. But it does look like we have moved over a particularly interesting resistance area that was established from like 2019. 2685. That seems to be an area that the price was having trouble with from 2019 to going on through the pandemic, and then finally in November of 2020, it had a breakthrough, and that rallied all the way up to the all-time highs of 46.45. So I think now that we're above that, we're going to want to keep an eye on that area of support, that 27 and change. I can't get maybe 27 exactly. We'll just say. So let's see if that can hold. Now, as far as resistance goes, like I said, I see a bunch on the way up here. 2850 kind of stands out to me, as does 3075 and 32 even. So there's more up on there's more above that, but those are the next three.
GRWG. Was this Tracy that was on this earlier? Tracy, I think that somebody mentioned this, but it was in the middle of something, and I think I glanced right over it. Tracy, let me know if this was you. Yeah, been in GRWG. Okay, so here we go. So Tracy's saying, been in GRWG since yesterday. Any levels would be appreciated. Well, I'll tell you what. So this moving with the cannabis theme that we talked about, little bit of a pullback here. Let's take a look and see. 13, I'd be curious to know what kind of levels you have on GRWG as well. Interestingly enough, okay, so this 140 area, this was a high back from June of earlier this year. Let's take a look at the daily chart. 140, 150, maybe 160, bigger resistance here at 180. So I'm thinking 150, 180, maybe 160.
The 200 EMA, daily EMA, is at 134, about 135. So we are above that right now. And I see that there are a good amount of buyers at about 136. So that might be a little bit of a support area, but I don't think that there's enough buyers there to support that. So I'm not sure if that's going to hold if it comes back in.
Okay.
But that is an interesting spot. So that 150 area that we kind of climbed up to, we went a little bit higher than, no, actually we hit 150. So that 150 area, that does look like a pretty strong resistance area.
Yeah.
So I'll say this: if we don't manage to get above that today, there could be another visit later on that hits it again and goes through.
Okay.
So we'll see if that ends up happening. That might even happen today if it recaptures VWAP. But
okay.
I don't want to get too ahead of it.
Okay. Tracy, you're welcome. Love it there. Good stuff here on GRWG. By the way, X4, so that 202 high, it's since then backed off that. It is testing VWAP though right now on XFOR. So we'll see if that holds there. Thank you, Top Talk. This is the best community for live trading. This is why we do this show. And it is a lot of fun. You found yourself a good spot, that's for sure. BMNR, let's take a look at that. This has been another really good mover here today.
Perfect. We're right at that trend line.
Dude,
right
look at that.
Yep.
Look at that right there. Let's get above this 64. That was the original call by Top Talk. Let's see if we get above that. Oh,
we are, you know what? We're not that extended on this time frame, so I could see this still going higher. We do have that pre-market high of 65.97. Call it 66. That and the high that we made just before we dropped out of the open, 65. So yeah, that whole area, that whole handle of from 65 to 66, going to be the next resistance area here if we manage to get through this trend line.
We're happy you found us too, Michelle. That's why I kind of make jokes about stuff like spamming and trolling and stuff like that, is because we really have created a community that feels good about helping one another. And I think there's just so much benefit. I benefit from you folks. I benefit from 13. We don't do this we don't do this alone. Instead, we do it together. And that's really helped me. So glad to hear a lot of the positive comments. We will, and as Sammy said earlier, always energetic and always positive. That's the way to go through your day, in my opinion. BMNR through the trend line.
We got a question from Michael Del Sesto asking if we had looked at Triple D yet. I think we did.
Yeah, we did.
Up 31% today. It looks to me like if we are going to continue higher, 250 looks like it's going to be a bit of a resistance area based on this daily chart here. We did pop up to this area and trade and close above it back in May, but the very next day we gapped down. So just something to consider with this one. I'm not sure I'd be an overnight holder with this, but 250 does look like a pretty good resistance area, and then just above that you have the 200-day SMA at 263.
Okay.
All right, let's see what's next. Okay, so nice. Archer did get over 10. It's trying to hold above it right now. The high of the session is 10.07, and we are at $10 right now.
TLS, Jacob, I think you were on this one earlier. This ramped yesterday. Telos shares trading higher after Wedbush maintained an outperform rating on the stock and raised its price target from 4 to 6. That was here this morning. Yesterday, this moved on earnings, so it looks like we're having a repricing higher here on Telos. That's ticker TLS. What does this company do again? Technology forwarded software-based security solutions that empower and protect the world's security-conscious organizations against rapidly evolving, sophisticated, and pervasive threats. So this is going to be a low-cost cybersecurity play. 30 mil in revs versus 284 mil cap. So this is actually kind of cheap for a cybersecurity company, I feel like. This 4x over its daily volume. Really good trend scores here as well, and actually pretty good momentum scores. Interesting on TLS. This one not on my radar at all, despite being in cybersecurity. Part of me wonders if this has more legs.
When do we think we'll see the turnaround in AMD? To the downside, or is it selling off today? Well, I mean, I guess I need some clarification. Do you mean like, is it going to break down? Because I know it's been on a tear since.
Yeah, it sure has, dude. Look at this.
But we've seen some pretty good pullbacks already in this, and we got one. Well, let's see, on this whole move up here. Let's start with April. We get up to May 13th, and we get some pullback there. We rally up, and then in June we get another pullback down to, from 148 almost down to 133. Rallied again, another pullback in July 22nd. Rallied again, got another pullback here this month, and probably we'll see some more highs pretty soon if this pattern continues. We're still above the 20-day SMA, which this has been riding very nicely through this entire rally. So I would say until we start closing beneath the 20-day SMA, this pattern of these rallies and then pullbacks into and then going into another rally could continue. So that would be what I'd be watching for. Now we do have a resistance area up around 187. That's we should keep our eye on. But that's what I expect until we start losing that 20-day SMA. All right.
Thinking about it here, I love this. I'm sorry if I'm picking off part of a conversation that you were having. I bought some CoreWeave puts, but went out to September and did 130. So it looks like you're setting up for a CoreWeave short swing here. I love the expiry because I too am thinking about what stocks can we short going into September. And I got to think that we need to be positioned before the calendar rolls over to September too. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some weakness near the end of August, even though if it's going to stay in that, kind of choppy seasonality. But I'm almost thinking that if we're going to position for shorts that we're looking to close in September, if the market does move down, we probably have to position those early. So I'm interested in this. You're looking at the September 130 puts.
ELF still making new highs. We are approaching that 117 level where I was mentioning earlier that could be the start of some more resistance. If you look back on earlier this month on the 4th, the after hours going into the pre-market the next day, that 17 was about where you got all the price action to find resistance. So that's why I'm looking at that area. We do manage to get through that, then it looks like 118.50 could be the next resistance area.
Okay. All those insider shares are unlocking this week on CoreWeave.
That's right.
Oh, you guys, this is
Isn't that the 15th?
Here, let me actually get the exact date on that. CoreWeave calendar.
I hope I'm right because I was getting yelled at about that yesterday.
8/14. Didn't we have this incorrect? And I told you guys that I was going to report it to our news desk, and now it is correct here. This is the day after tomorrow. So this is Thursday, 8/14. Thank you, Chopped Coop.
Yeah.
So we do have this here.
I could have sworn that we were told it was 8/15, but I thought that because it's supposed to be 2 days after their earnings report, that would make it the 14th. Yeah.
Interesting here on this thesis. I like this. You know what though? I haven't looked at those option chains. The 130, man, those 130 puts that thinking about it, those are $1,900 per contract ask.
See, okay. So here's the thing that I think we need to iron out, because here we go. This is what I was talking about. Thinking about it, saying CoreWeave, August 15th, first day of no lockup trading. So I guess my question is, are we going to see that the shares hit the market on the 14th, or is it after the session closes? That day is now out of the way. The shares are unlocked, and the 15th is when we start seeing those shares hit the market. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I think the lockup expires at the close on the 14th. So the 15th would be the day that you would expect that movement.
Okay. That's, I think important to know. Help us out here, folks. Because I know thinking about it, you're saying it's the first day of no lockup trading. So that's why I think it's important that we iron this out. Are we going to see these shares hit the market? It'll
be the 15th. Yeah,
that's what I thought. Okay.
By the way, XFOR might be done for the day. That broke away from VWAP and is selling off on volume here. That approaching 170 XFOR. Kathy here adding another wrinkle to this, though. Possible play to buy CoreWeave prior to the earnings and sell before the lockup expires. CoreWeave reports tonight.
Mm-hmm. And that was a great mention by was it Smoke Tuna saying that it'll be fast with X4? Well, we did get that move up to 2.
And it was
fast. And that was it. Now we're coming down to the 65 EMA, which is pretty much one of the only other spots I would think we have some support coming for a turnaround here. But after that, it's 200 down at 157.
Oklo here, guys. Oklo hitting session highs on volume right now. Wedbush, let's see. Was there a squawk on this? Hang on.
ATNF, here we go. Looking for that 625 print again.
Don't see it yet here. So that's what I'm doing with CoreWeave. So you guys are playing CoreWeave for an earnings pop tonight, and then you're looking to get out prior to the lockup expiry, right? That's the trade here, Robert. How are you playing the CoreWeave? Are you playing it with stock? Are you playing it with options? What's the strike and expiry, folks? Seeing here on X, Oklo selected for Department of Energy nuclear pilot program. That seems bullish to me. Looks like I think this did probably pop a little bit on volume right when that came out.
Meanwhile, ELF now trading above 117.57. This is it just hit 117.57, and it's getting a little bit of a back off here. We're still looking for 118, 118.50 before we start to get some real resistance in this thing here. But nice move through 17. This has been a very nice scallop that we've got here on ELF. And looks like BTAI is also trying to reach those session highs again.
You know, I'm sorry this is probably so late. James, you had asked before, I believe, on BTBT. Remember, this stock was tied to that recent Fly IPO. Maybe this Fly is kind of bottomed out, $48. I don't really see anything going on with either of these right now, to be quite honest with you.
Well, the only thing I see going on with BTBT is that there is resistance at 305. I mean, that just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb here with this one.
Yeah, 305. Definitely need to clear that out. GRWG, we just talked about this one.
Dang.
It's now reclaiming its VWAP.
I was just getting the words out before you said the ticker. It's almost like we're looking at the same thing.
Yeah, probably we are.
BTAI, that's still looking okay, but the volume needs to be better. There's a seller in the way at 620. That's why we need some bigger volume, or else we're not going to take that out. Archer coming in a little bit under 10. ASTS, this is continuing lower. BMNR, this is still dealing with that trend line as resistance. Pretty much the same thing happened here as it did with the regular session. The pre-market. It popped, dropped out of the gate here. We just got another pop over the trend line, came back in, but we're holding 61. And if we do get another push here, we could take this trend line out and the $65 resistance area as well. So let's see if we end up getting enough volume to do all that. It's really going to be about volume at this point.
Top U.S. quantum real estate markets: Southern California, Colorado, Chicago. They took it off the screen. There's an Illinois quantum and microelectronics park being built in Chicago.
ATNF new session highs, 640.
Yeah, ATNF. Sorry, I got distracted by whatever's on CNBC here. Jacob, this was a really good mention. This pushed right up to that resistance area. Now we're going above it here. The only thing we have left here is going to be this impulse candle from the opening of the pre-market. That's 662 as your area there.
I also have a trend line where this might run up to. I started it from the pre-market on the 8th, and I drew it through the that impulse move that you just mentioned. So that kind of gives us about 725, 730 to where this price could run to if we're going to use that trend line as resistance. Yeah, so I just if you look at the pre-market high at about 9 o'clock on the 8th.
Yep.
There you go.
There it is.
That's what I'm looking at there as potential resistance area.
I drew it a little crappy. Let me fix it. Whoa.
I'm just really happy about ELF. That looked like it was a pretty good setup, and it ended up working out pretty well. Hopefully some folks made some good money on it.
There we go. There are drawings correct there. ATNF, here we go. We're right above that high now. I think the trend line, your next target here. Jacob, great mention. I'm sorry I was slow to it, but you weren't. Great mention there. And, JJ, it looks like you're on this too. Let's go, JJ. What was that, 13? Sorry.
I was just going to point out, I mentioned it just a moment ago about BMNR. I'm still just keeping an eye on it because if this does try to hammer the trend line again, there could be a good breakout up to 65 and higher. But it's like I was saying, it's all about the volume at this point, and it just doesn't seem like it's there right now.
Yeah, and it's hammering that trend line as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
See if we see anything unusual here in the options.
Okay, well, we took out that pre-market high at 671 in ATNF. I'm thinking we're going to hit this trend line. That was a big move just now.
Bloom Energy has some 45 calls for November getting bought in size, $500,000 on that trade. That's ticker
right.
BE.
Right, Brian? So I guess what are they just going to be a bank now? Take care, Wes.
Yeah, take care,
and
Wes
Kevin.
and Kevin. Just as a reminder, no Anne Marie session here today. She's a bit under the weather, so we give her the day off. 13 and I will go for an extra half hour here today. So, were you going to answer that?
Go ahead.
Okay, Michelle's asking, why is August so low on volume? Is it the kids going back to school? That might play into it. I know back to school, the ads are all over TV. I don't know what the actual school schedules are around here, but I think more so than that, you have a very, very choppy month on a seasonality basis. And I think you have a lot of people expecting that. So it just doesn't make sense to necessarily be initiating new positions here unless they're short term. I would say that the seasonality plays in more to that, Michelle, but there might be some impact from that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'd be buying stuff to hold for long periods of time, but this is going to be a pretty good environment for trading. It's the choppiness, but this is why is August like this? It just has been this way for a while. This tends to be when the seasonality is. I'm sure there's some other more fundamental reasons, but typically we're going to get this chopping around in August, followed by some selling into September, and probably throughout the rest of that month until we start to reach October, where seasonality starts to improve as a result of the holiday season.
Yeah, so this is kind of what I'm thinking about here. Von Rivera is asking, kids are day trading also? I don't think so. Maybe NFTs, maybe crypto. But more seriously here, August is the last month of summer vacations. This is definitely a thing. I know I'm going on some vacations here, but it has nothing to do with kids. When I was a kid, we would always try to wrap up the last vacation that we had in August. And Izzy, I think that this is kind of like a common thing for folks. And I think this makes some of the trade desks a little less populous. And as a result, you have lower volumes there. I do think this is playing into it. I'm just not sure how much of the percentage that is.
And James, it's kind of terrible for kids because they keep moving classes more and more into August. Like this year for my kids, they started yesterday.
Your kids started school yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of kids around the nation have already started school. I think they started school last week.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Kids trade trading cards, don't they? I don't know if that's popular anymore, EKS. I'll tell you what, when I was a kid, boy, basketball cards, baseball cards, even card games, Magic the Gathering, the Star Wars card game. I was a bit before Pokemon, but that kind of picked up as I was kind of moving away from cards. I'm not sure how popular that is. I do know that card collecting is way bigger than I thought. Like way bigger than I thought. I'm learning about that every day. Izzy's giving me lessons on that.
Yeah, I think that's right, Clark. There's still a lot of kids collecting cards, but I don't know exactly which kind of cards they are outside of Pokemon. I think those are the most popular still.
Joseph, I think that Michael Jordan Fleer rookie still commands a high price. I think you have to buy authenticated packs at like $1,500 a pop to try and get that. The Barstool guys pulled one live on a stream, turned around and told everybody card collecting was easy. I'm here to tell you that it isn't.
ASTS is looking like it's starting to turn around here. Keep an eye on that one if this company interests you and you're looking for a trade. We also had ELF continuing to grind higher, 117.88. I'm looking for resistance between 118 and 118.50. We're almost there. This has been probably one of the better ones that provided a trade today. Just nothing but, well, I don't want to say nothing, but it just went straight up with a little bit of back and forth.
Here you go, 13. Good
I
call
like that.
there.
Give me that Chewbacca.
Not true, but most people get their holidays in August, August 15 being the peak date. Okay. Nathan, you guys are awesome, but Bridget from Market Watch is hotter. Okay, I'll concede that.
Oh, so Clark, dealing thousands of dollars in football and basketball cards. Where do you, if you don't mind me asking, where do you at, Clark, and where you seeing this? And do you go to like these different sports and card shops that like? Tell me how you're getting the info. I'm just curious. 50. Oh, in your card store. Perfect. That answers my question. Thank you. So he's got boots on the ground. He goes to card
Clark
store.
also owns a card store, huh? Wondering if we can get deals on hobby boxes, Clark.
He saw this at the National Card Show in Chicago. You should go
you were at that too. Izzy was there too. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry I didn't go to that. I know you guys were telling me Tom Brady and Gronk were there. That's really cool.
Really?
Yeah, because it's apparently one of the biggest ones. Like I said, I don't have a pretty good knowledge of sports card collecting. I feel like I'm learning it from you folks. Oh, okay. I don't own the store you just visited. Okay, you probably can't give me a deal then. Oh my God, pawn shops are selling trading cards as well as gold and silver coins. Now that I didn't have on my bingo card. I can see it though, right? You basically just look up whatever it's going for. The market's pretty liquid, and then you do whatever you need to do to make money off of it.
Yeah, BM&R is trying to hit that trend line again. I still don't like that the volume's as low as it is, but it's hitting this level again.
It's all about that trend line.
Well, it's on the other side of it now, but just be careful. It could come back beneath it. Archer losing a little altitude after hitting 10. Sorry, go ahead.
So really quick here, Pavel is asking, how does the $20 billion offering in BM&R work? Is it diluted now or is it in steps? So let me see here. This includes up to $2 billion authorized in its original prospectus, $2.5 billion under a prior supplement, and an additional $20 billion authorized under the new filed supplement. So this is going to dilute it. But I think one of the reasons that it's not behaving like a traditional offering action is because they're stating that they're going to use these funds to buy more Ethereum, and Ethereum is extremely hot right now. Is that your read, 13? What's your read on this?
No, my read is that Ethereum is really hot. And then I was mentioning earlier with that other company, which one was it? Was it the one that was ATNF? They reported what their Ethereum cash value was, and I said no, it's higher than that because Ethereum's gone up even more today. So, I think I think I would just look at it this way: watch Ethereum, and if Ethereum's going up, you'll probably see this go up, and any of the other ones that have the Ethereum in it, they'll probably go up.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Let me know if that answers your question, Pavel.
We saw a whole bunch of this when we were looking at all these names that had Bitcoin in it. If Bitcoin moved, they moved. So if Ethereum moves, these will probably move too. And in the process, probably squeeze out shorts.
Yeah, you guys are still talking about trading cards. I slept on how big of a market that is. One of my coworkers here is into it. I don't know how much I can talk about because he's not public about it, but he pulled some unbelievable cards, and it's like when he told me the values, I was like, "Oh my God, are you quitting and retiring?" He's not, but I definitely slept on that market. It's humongous.
ATNF, as long as this holds above 625, and it could still print underneath there and still close above 625, but as long as it holds this level, I think we may get another move higher than 679.
Welcome back to Do Not Adjust Your Monitor. We are still here. As a reminder, we are going until 11:30 to cover for Anne Marie, who's a bit under the weather here today. Also a reminder, so I will not be here Thursday and Friday. Kevin will be filling in for me. I did ask Anne Marie about it. She does plan on being back on Friday, so you can look forward to that session there on Friday. And as I've mentioned before, please be nice to Kevin and 13. They're out here doing a great job so that I can maybe get some time away from my desk.
And smoked tuna, yeah. We were mentioning you earlier. I'm sorry that you weren't here for it, but we were saying, yeah, you called this and you said that it was going to be quick, and it did, and it was fast. So took a little bit of that. I made some. Hopefully other people did too. Thank you for that. That's something in my eye. All right. Hey, look at that. Givo is going a little bit higher now, but this is the kind of thing that I was alluding to about the float size and how long this could take to go anywhere. Also, I was expecting this to also, slowly whenever we end up getting that, but it's still pushing up higher, just very, very slowly.
At least it didn't just die. Like on X4, we got that big knife that pulled us down.
Yeah, I mean,
pulled us down to a support area, and we've not been able to recapture the VWAP.
We're up 9 cents, 9 cents from the open here in GEVO. So this is pretty much what I've been talking about here. The float being as heavy as it is, not going to give you a whole lot of great moves. Sure, that move over the trend line from about 170 to 182 was a nice 12-cent move. But man, when so many other things are ripping with dollars in the upside, it's a little bit hard to want to stick around for GEVO. Still, hopefully some people made money in this one if you traded it. Circle tapping the VWAP, my VWAP anyway. That's probably different for yours, but I have VWAP at 175 and 7 cents.
And which stock? Sorry,
that's Circle.
Circle CRCL.
Mm-hmm. Robert looking at AMAT for a swing. Ryan, I'm sorry. Izzy's asking you a question if you saw.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get some more information on this because so I don't know what car. I didn't see this. Ryan, did you see that a guy just sold a Daniels rookie card auto 1 of 1 to the owner of the Commanders for $500,000? So I don't know what card that is. Izzy, if you could tweet me that and tag me on that so I can look it up, that would be cool. And then, Thursday, we should have Mayhem on. Someone will have to give him the link. Oh, I think I had producer Aaron on top of that. So we should be good with that as well.
That's going to be an interesting day. Got
Thursday?
With Mayhem and Kevin.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
I'm looking forward to it.
Also, so here's the earnings calendar for Thursday. So you guys are probably going to be talking about, or maybe even looking at DE, that's John Deere. The night before were there any big ones there? Oh, I guess not. I guess you guys are going to get off. I guess Cisco maybe.
Oh, look,
probably your biggest.
Rigetti's tonight. Great.
Rigetti and CoreWeave tonight, and Kava.
Well, I'm just curious to see what Rigetti's going to say. I think they're one of the better quantum names. So whatever they say, that's kind of going to give me something to think about with the quantum play. So I'm looking forward to it. And GRWG, this still slowly making its way higher above VWAP. The high of the session is 150.
Yeah, and Clark's saying the getting a 1 of 1 is so rare. So that's what I'm trying to see what I can and can't talk about. But my coworker, he pulled one of those.
Circle get a VWAP projection. ATNF. I already mentioned what I want to see out of this one. It still has to play out. Looking for that 625 support.
Soundhound, this is actually holding higher and moving higher. Where was the gamma squeeze guy from yesterday? He didn't show up today. The guy that was just talking about sound all day yesterday. It looks like we did get some more here on SOUN. A little bit more continuation here today.
Yeah, it still looks like 17 could potentially happen on a move over 1650. I don't want to say that 1650 got a double top here, even though we have a couple of separate prints. Let's see if it can take that out. Take out 1650. I think we'll see 17. And there's growing.
Brian, what's the manipulation here? BMNR, this is now breaking that recent high. It looks like we're actually comfortably above the trend line here. I got 65 as the next target here, BMNR.
Yeah, the pre-market high that we had just before the open. The actual pre-market high is further back at 65.97, but this area between 65 and 66, I think we're going to see the the resistance up in there somewhere.
Mazrur, I'm not ignoring you. I don't see any YouTube link, and I can't necessarily watch something right now for you. BMNR actually looking pretty good here.
$0.20 spreads is crazy. We're looking on that BMNR still, but I'm just looking at that 65 to 66 area as where the resistance is going to kick in, the big resistance. It looks like we're already getting a little bit of a pull here on this. That hit 64.50 before coming back in. Okay. Growing, still making its way up to 150. BTAI, new session high, coming up to some consolidation from the pre-market. And let me see if I can find anything else. Looks like GEVO still going a little bit higher. Thinking 2 might be a bit of a problem for GEVO. That was a resistance on 2 separate occasions, once in the after hours and once in the pre-market. We did trade higher up to 220 in the after hours yesterday, but have since come down in the pre-market. And in the pre-market, we could not get back above that 205 area. So I think that's going to be the resistance I'd be keeping an eye on for today.
ATNF curling back up. Remember, we still have that trend line targeted about 713 above.
ATNF, where are you? Oh,
so Izzy, if you're still out there, I'm consulting my coworker card collecting friend. He's telling me that the card that you're talking about, the 1-of-1 card to the Commander's owner, it wasn't even an auto. It was a Prism rookie, and it happened at Fanatics Fest.
Soundhound at a resistance area around 625. Large seller in the way there. There's a lot of shares looking to get unloaded from 1625 all the way up to 1650. We're going to need to see a bigger increase in volume if we're going to get through all this.
USAR might be taking out the intraday high here. Real quick, and I'm sorry for spending so much time on this, but it's just the card collecting thing is interesting. Izzy saying you're right. So this is interesting to me because my coworker buddy, he pulled the Jaden Daniels top chrome autograph 1-of-1. So he pulled. I literally, he has pictures of it. He literally showed me top chrome auto 1-of-1. If that Prism rookie went for $500K. What is this top chrome auto 1-of-1 going to go for? Good Lord. All right. Anything else looking appealing here?
I'm just
for new trades.
I don't know about new trades. Some things are still giving some movement. Let me look at where is it? ELF. How's ELF doing? Okay, so hasn't been able to get into that 118 handle, although we did test it. Very, very nice. So, I mean, even if it backed off here, I think I'd consider that good, because 118 to 1850 was about where I was looking for that resistance, and this is up the very first step of it. So, fine. Maybe this still goes higher after this pullback, but so far, ELF happy with that one. ATNF, this looks like it's trying to set up to go higher. Not sure that it will. We're getting a pullback from Givo. Tilray is going sideways. X4 trading under VWAP. Xena looks like it's going to break down some more. Circle trying to rebound off the 65 EMA. ASTS, this one also looks like it's going to have another test of the 65 EMA soon. BMNR trying to hold above the trend line that we drew. BBAI, that was one we were looking at for as a little squeezy. This is it's consolidating. It might be putting in a bullpen in here, to be honest. So look for another move up through 530. If we start closing above that, we might end up getting the 200 EMA on the 5-minute as well at 560.
Marcus here mentioning ON. This is not the shoe company. This is On Semiconductor. This is actually having a pretty good day off this $47 support. It's actually probably a little bit like gappy here, maybe up to like that 54. This up 8.5% here today. Just a monster day.
I have a big trend line on this one. Starts at July 2023, the very end of July. And I drew it through the high of December 4th, 2024. Because I think that's when I drew it. That was the high at the time. And now it's found a bottom down around 31. And we're still trying to get back over this trend line. We did once back in July, but I've lost it since. Those 50 and 200-day SMAs are going to be in the way at around 53.75 to 54.
13, you're getting asked here if you have levels on SBET.
Sure. Let's take a look here and see what we got. Oh, look at both my broker and at Pro.
26 still a level there.
Just give me a moment to look at this a little bit here. I will get you some levels. Looks like we do have a bit of a trend. I don't know how I would draw this though. One moment, I'll get you some. So, one thing I do see is that if we do go lower, there appears to be some support down around 2050. So that's one area that looks interesting to the downside. To the upside, we're kind of at a spot that the price is trying to get back above. If you look at what's been happening from yesterday going into today, this area that we're at here is like the 2250 area. This was getting support all throughout the after hours and the majority of the pre-market. As a matter of fact, it rebounded off this area and went as high as 2450. We've since come down, lost that area of support. I'm going to be viewing that area as a potential resistance level. And looking at the price ladder here, 2250 has a large concentration of sellers. So I would say that if we are going to take out 2250, we're going to need a large expansion of volume here. We need to just really get the buyers to step in and take out that level. And if we do, the next area above that, I'd say that where resistance could potentially kick in is going to be 23.
FTRE here, I actually did hear from Jay. He's golfing, so that's good stuff. FTRE here even higher. I think this is the one that Mayhem talked about, right? Pretty good. Good stuff on SBET, by the way, 13. Thank you for that.
Oh, sure.
And then John here saying, can you guys take a look at CoreWeave? We have looked at CoreWeave a few times here. The earnings is tonight. We talked about this a little bit. It seems to me that the consensus here is that CoreWeave probably is going to beat. Maybe they do pop and trade higher, but remember the 14th is the lockup date expiry. So on the 15th, you're likely to see some insiders sell. So John, the thought here is that we might see CoreWeave pop. We also might see it get sold into as those insiders are going to be allowed to sell their shares. By the way, SPY officially has taken out the range that I had talked about, the 630 to 640 range that I said would stop us. Well, it did stop us, but only temporarily. We actually did print 641.03 as our high print here on the SPY. Market is near highs as we speak. Dow, Qs, SPY, the whole 9 yards. And actually, let's take a look at IWM, because this is one of the, IWM, same deal. Remember, Sammy was talking about this earlier here today. So market at highs here. It is absolutely liking this data print from this morning.
Yeah, and CoreWeave, one other thing to add, if I look at the price action from yesterday, we can see that we got a bit of a topping out here from about 141.25 to 141.50, where the actual high of that session was 141.50. We're continuing to make our way up there, and I anticipate that if we do reach that level, we're going to probably see the same kind of resistance. Could we break through it? Possibly. I think that really depends on what the volume looks like at the time. But I'm going to be looking at that level. I'd be looking at that level closely as a resistance level.
Guys, seeing some BMNR calls roll through here. Maybe there were more earlier. I didn't see them. Let me filter this and see. Man, it is all calls for the most part on the unusual options for BMNR. Lots of notional traded on this here today. And it looks like they're going out to September, or it's the week. So it's either going to be a short term or they're going out to September. We've got one here going out to October.
So to September, when the market's supposed to sell off?
Well, yeah. So these contracts, well, these are puts actually that expire in September. So you know what? Well, here's another one. The same expiry. This is the monthly expiry. You know what, though? I think this is a closing trade. 55, so this is an in-the-money call that expires next month. Yeah, I'm almost wondering if this was a closing trade here on BMNR. But I do see some more short-term. Yeah, these 60s and these 70 calls for this week, those are definitely new trades here today.
Well, they're doing good because we're above that.
Harveen, thank you for that. Your donations are never expected, but always appreciated.
Absolutely.
Helps us keep this show free.
New session highs. We're coming up to that $2 area where I have concerns about this getting rejected, because that's where the price action was having a problem with it this morning. So let's see if $2 provides some resistance. 195 to $2. We're right about there too. As a matter of fact, the price ladder shows a massive amount of sellers at $2 and then at 210.
Jane, we are on a little bit later today because Anne-Marie is under the weather. So we are filling in the time until we do tech tune-up at 11:30 here with Paul Meeks. So 5 more minutes and we're going to send you over to Paul.
Hit the like for Anne-Marie to get a quick recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. She does a lot of really good work for us and with us. Actually, I think she might have posted some trades in the chat. Let's see. Maybe we can give you some extra bonus stuff here.
Under the weather, but over the top.
Oh, how about this? She did give some trades here today. So despite not feeling all that great, looks like we've got an MLM vertical here. This is a put vertical. So have looks like a HAL put. That looks like a lotto ticket there.
Yeah, Izzy, I'm looking at a daily chart, and I think this is okay. We did go down and test that 50-day SMA as support. We're still holding above it. I think as long as we hold above it, it looks like we could still manage for the price to make its way back above the 20. So far, so good on this one. Just holding up the 50-day SMA. Let's see if it continues to hold the rest of the day.
Okay.
Getting a mention on Izzy's telling me LiDAR.
That's LIDR, right?
That's
yeah,
it.
AI.
This is getting a little bit of a push up here. This has we've got an offering on the table here. They filed this yesterday, but here we are moving higher. Let me look and see what I can find as far as levels go. Okay, so back from Friday, there was a 316 level that this hit, and then it backed off. So that's going to be a level to keep an eye on. I see that at 315, we start to get a larger concentration of sellers going all the way up into the all the way up to 350. So looks like people are trying to get out of this one. See if they're successful or not. It looks like 316 is the next resistance area from here. After that, I'd say 330 because that's from the pre-market high on the 5th. And then maybe 340 since that's where a lot of support was kicking in on July 31st during the regular session.
SBAT seeing some 22.5 calls just going off. I know we just looked at this recently, but just seeing some more there going off. ETHA, I think we talked about that earlier too. Yeah, that's that Ethereum thing. That's going higher here, and that's likely impacting BMNR. We talked about this being for Ethereum on the treasury strategy. So,
oh, look, there's LiDAR getting rejected. So as long as it can hold 3, there may be another attempt to go back up there. And yeah, I agree. The volume doesn't look great right now. It had a good impulse of volume for about 10 minutes over the past prior 2 candles, but that seems to have really come in since then after hitting that resistance area I outlined. BMNR is still dealing with that trend line. That has been the bane of its upside.
X4 is hanging out right beneath its VWAP, but maybe it pops and goes through 182. I would trust it.
BTP.
Thank you, Marty.
With the
We
new
appreciate
session
you.
high. All right. I like that 3x today. Excellent. Is he saying ETHA calls coming in now? Ooh, don't like that reversal candle in GRWG. Let's see if VWAP can hold or if we are going to get this downside.
Check it out. Rocket near the highs here.
Rocket near the highs, huh?
Let's have Rocket. Let's have Rocket go. Here you go. Is he still here? How much time do we have? God, we've got less than 1 minute. I'm going to try to do this fast here.
Go.
Izzy, if you're still there, this was the card that my coworker pulled. He gave me permission to share it. So we'll close the show with this here. Look at this. Hold. 1 of 1. 1 of 1 rookie autograph with the dance move on it. Just when he sent this to me, I thought he was pulling my leg. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be worth, but there you go.
I like how we had that lizard dude in the background kind of holding the card.
So yeah, so this evidently is a mat in the card store that he shops at for the purpose of photographing cards. It makes it look really cool.
Hilarious.
Like that.
That's awesome.
So, all right, 13, we're out of time here. It's Paul Meeks next. Any closing words for the group on this really awesome day?
It's been a fun extended day with you all, and I hope that we have another fun day tomorrow. Thanks to everybody that showed up today and all the new folks. I hope you come back. It's been a great, wonderful day.
Absolutely.
See you tomorrow. We'll find these movers again. We'll trade them. We'll have another good day. Until then, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right, really good mention, 13, and great job here today. Thank you for the extra time as well. We will see 13 tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. Paul Meeks, right now, I'm going to send you over. You don't have to do anything. Stay green.